Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and guess what? It's Science Bob night. Yeah, his final appearance of 2024 as we get ready for a great show with the one and only Dr. Bob McGwier. Yep, little Timmy James in studio as well, but he won't be here until hour 3. We got all of you here. We got Race Fan in the gold medal position, Rugged Source with a silver, Baywatcher with a nice bronze medal tonight. Hello, our attorney at large, Michael Morris, Brown Dwarf, Gory Tiger. How you doing? Bar Madison, Karyn in the Woo Train. Nice to see you. Mel WD-40 is here, lubing us up for tonight's show because you always want to go into a show nice and smooth. When it comes to Science Bob, the information is going to be fast and furious. If it's not lubed up, that information's not flowing. So thanks, Mel, for lubing us up tonight. Road Flare, how you doing? Supernower, Chris. Teen, how you doing? Frankie B, what's going on? Joanne is here. Joanne will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Hi, Eternity Eternal. How you doing? And, little Timmy James in the chat room. How you doing, buddy? Number 46 in your program tonight, starting on defense from Stockholm, Sweden. Lars Jansson in the studio. How you doing? Thomas Rock, good to see you. Richard Minnick, thanks for coming on in. Doug Shelby is here. The Doug Shelby has arrived, which means we can officially start this show. Pony Pong, how you doing? Pony Pong will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. Because it's morning for Pony Pong, make sure you bring a cup of coffee. He won't sign unless there's a cup of coffee there. All right, here we go. Ethanol, Operation Shutdown. And who's next? Panda on Fire, how you doing? Richard Minnick, thank you so much for kicking off the Super Chat tonight. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. But unfortunately for you, we're talking drones tonight. We have to. We have no choice. It'll end soon, I promise you. Kimberly Burgess, JBD, and Cosmic Joe, thank you for that lovely Super Chat. Appreciate your love and support of SOR as well. Algaray over on Twitch did a plethora of exercises to stretch out for Science Bob tonight. He's stretched and ready. Noble Patrick, Mexi Chicken Wrap. I wonder who that is. Hi, Lorelei. How are you? I love the name. Yeah, Solstice Ganachery in Tea Room. Best fucking chicken wraps you'll ever eat, man. Right there. You quote that. Make that into a short. Alien Critter. Larry Bonds, the home run king. How you doing? Invisible Tracker. Nice to see you. Hi, Amanda Carroll. Warden Dragon. Dragonfly. And Kitty Cattywhack. How y'all doing? Kurt M., thanks for coming on in. Hi, Joan Dillon. It's been a while from Holland. How's your wooden shoes? Let me know. let me know. Rose Brooks, how you doing? As we continue on with roll call, there's JSCO. MJ, how you doing? Digger Dog, thanks for coming on in. And Paul Vidal, it's been a while from Northern New Jersey. You seeing them drones too? All right. Monica, thanks for coming on in. Marty Burback, good to have you here. Miss Mary, how you doing? And we got to get the radio side going here. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Science Bob is up. Drones in New Jersey is the topic. We are in roll call right now on our YouTube side. We're going to say hello to Jeremy Jones. Deborah Rooney, how are you? Super crazy. Nice to see you. Of course, Marty Burback again. Buckethead, the soothsayer. Where have you been hiding? Nice to see you. Mama Susan, nice to have you back. And Scott's Life. Oh, Mexi chicken wraps. Oh, God. Guess where I'm going for lunch tomorrow. Yep. The ganachery. I'm heading there. Scott Rosen, Jeff Steve Garvey. He'll hit a home run for you. Yes, no, maybe. Broken Shadow Feather. How y'all doing? Blue Cruz. Nice to see you. Luscious Jules. Good to have you here. Fapperoony. How you doing, buddy? And Cielo. Nice to have you here. We are caught up. Hi, Gizmo. Throw those horns up, everybody. It's that time to rock. Let's do this thing. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We got a power show of drone talk coming at you here momentarily. Science Bob is here with Science Bob and friends, or maybe we'll call him Science Drone tonight. Science Drone is here with another great show. Then in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller has a great story for us, followed up by Little Timmy James, who will have the UFO report. All right, it is that time of the week, that time of the month. The final appearance of 2024 for Dr. Bob McGwier. We call him Science Bob around here. Why? Well, his resume is about 14 feet long with all of his education, with where he is taught, who he has worked for. He's formerly CIA, formerly NRO, formerly of Virginia Tech University, training physicists and mathematicians. This guy has his name on more than 20 satellites up in space. I think it's 21, to be exact. I could be wrong on that. It might be 22. But he is also one of the best friends that a guy could have in this field because of his knowledge, his connections, and when he grows a beard, it is stunning. Let's get right to it. Science Bob, it's good to have you back on Spaced Out Radio. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. I feeling well and ready to go. Lots of drone news, and I'll be glad when this flap is over so we can think about other things.
You know, this has really captivated the entire UFO community, Bob. And look, we know the United States military has been using drones for more than 30 years, okay, that we know of. And here we are seeing all this kind of play down in New Jersey, whether it's over military installations, whether it's over Trump's golf course, whether it's over, community buildings, police stations, everything. You have your foot on the ground there. You have your pulse of what's going on. What do you think is happening in New Jersey right now?
All sorts of stuff, but There's a lot of really weird stuff going on. So the Coast Guard is seeing transmedium craft chasing their boats. Picatinny Arsenal, which is a very important research and development military place, has had a ton of overflights. And we're seeing F-16s flying all around over New Jersey trying to figure out what's going on and not getting much official statements of any import other than we don't know.
There was a rumor coming out today that there was this cargo ship from Iran where they believed that there was the drones being hidden on there and flown out there at night because so many of them had been seen by the ocean. But all of a sudden it came out a little bit later in the afternoon that there was no Iranian ship there. I mean, to me, that's a panic call on the media, Bob.
Yes, it's a panic call. Let me tell you, if the Iranians pulled up, opened their bomb bay doors and launched drones inside U.S. airspace, they would be at the bottom of the ocean. We would have sunk them already.
So in your estimation, if that is the case, do you believe then that this is some sort of adversarial country who is trying to dig in on this, Bob?
Some of it is adversarial stuff going on. I think the Chinese are involved in stuff, but there are some cases where it is hard to understand what we are noticing, and I think there's heads being scratched all over. Transmedium is not something the Chinese are really huge at doing. We have prototypes. We don't have a fleet.
Do you think then, with all the hype that is going around about this, that we could really believe city, state, federal officials on what is going on? And we're going to get deeper into this later on in the show, but as a warm up here, as we're still stretching things out, what do you think is going on? Because they're sure acting pretty, how can I put it? I don't want to use the word dumb because I don't think that's the right terminology for it, but they're acting very, unknowing about it.
Well, I think at the local and state level, since they don't have sensor systems capable of doing much outside of radar, they are ignorant. It's not that they don't know; they know what they know and don't know more. And until they get more, they don't know more. So it is. I guarantee you, we have had multiple sensors and vehicles follow these things back to where they came from. So the U.S. government knows something they're not willing to say yet.
Hmm. I'm still confused about this whole story because I could get into it heavily right now, but we got 2 hours to talk about this, and I want to make sure that we have a full half hour to talk about this in the next half hour. But Bob, let me ask you this, okay, in regards to the drones, what are people seeing?
So they're seeing the major thing that's really got people stirred up in New Jersey is they're seeing drones with lots of lights on them, not sounding like a jet, but sounding like making noises that emulate a drone, but they're the size of a car. They're 6 feet wide and 10 feet long and flying pretty good clip. They're not way up high in the stratosphere like a jetliner, but they're 1,000, 2,000 feet above the ground, and they're flying search patterns. So and with all those lights, they are trying to get attention, and they are getting attention. They're trying. So if I was doing reconnaissance or I had a weapon, you wouldn't see me coming unless I made a mistake.
But that's my point, Bob. That's the point I've been making for the last couple of weeks. If this was a foreign adversary trying to see how far they could infiltrate into sensitive areas in the United States, they're not going to have their lights on.
Okay, so let me give you a different perspective. What is the intention and the purpose of all the bombing Putin is doing in Ukraine? What is its purpose? It is to attack the civilians and scare the crap out of them. So in the United States, with all these lights on, flying over, nobody telling anybody what's going on, the purpose is not to the purpose is to poke an eye in our military and scare the civilian population.
Do you believe then there is a possibility this is adversarial?
I believe it is possible. I believe it's absolutely possible.
On Bob's scale of 1 to 10, 1 being nah, 10 being 100% that this is what it is, where do you stand?
60% that it's adversarial. I believe that some of the stuff that we have videos of that come from reasonably trustworthy sources, they're doing things that drones can't do, like outrunning F-16s, leaving them in the dust.
Well, I haven't heard that one yet. So
I've seen it on YouTube.
Okay. So do you think then if this is adversarial, why haven't we shot any of them down yet?
Okay. So how do we know what they have on board? And you don't shoot down foreign material over populated areas. You just don't do it. You don't want it falling on somebody's house and killing their grandma. That is a losing proposition. So long as they are only doing reconnaissance, I don't think we'll be shooting them down. If we get them out and away from populations, we'll probably take one out. But we're gonna have sensors, those things covered up with our sensors. We're looking for radiological, chemical, biological, measure weight, mass, whatever. We're doing everything we can to kind of, as much as we can, reconstruct the thing from the outside in.
Okay. That opens up another question to what I was going to ask then. My first question was that I was going to ask was what do you think then, or who do you think then has the technology in the world that could do this?
Oh, I'm sure China does. I'm sure they do.
Well, I'm sure
they're building supersonic drones right now to go along with their 5th generation fighters. They have the control systems. They can do it.
Okay, so let's list these off then. Russia, China.
That's about it. That's about it.
Do you think Iran?
We and the Israelis set the Iranians back 15 years in the last month. All their drone factories, their centrifuges, all that stuff, the things that do logistics and other stuff inside Iran, we flattened it.
Okay. North Korea.
North Korea, the issue is North Korea will not have the capability to operate outside their own airspace. You know, the United States can run drones all over the world sitting in an air base in Nevada. Over the entire world. The pilots are in Nevada. And it's just, people do not understand our level of capabilities and our level of integration. Now, when you have extremely complex systems like we do, there's always vulnerabilities, but we work nonstop to find those and plug them.
So outside of, let's say, the logical, which would be Russia, China, is there anybody else out there who you think would have that capability?
Some of our allies, but they're not going to do this. They're our allies.
What if it was Trudeau wondering where to drop maple syrup?
Hey, he would be very popular in the United States.
Because let's face it, there is a real hissy fit match going on between the president-elect and the current sitting dear leader of Canada.
Yeah, Trump's tariff stuff is going to be very disruptive. And everyone is trying to talk sense into it.
I'm telling you, this has, we could go into a whole conversation about that. You and I did earlier today about that. But, the idea about these drones here, they're as small as a cell phone. They are as big as a vehicle. There was one claim today that one was the size of a city bus.
I don't know about that. I had not heard that.
But what I'm saying
that is a huge drone.
But what I'm saying though, Bob, is this is the type of things where people who are following this start getting into a panic, and they start, all of a sudden, it's that old adage of the elementary school line where the teacher tells the first kid in line apples are red, and by the time it gets to the other person at the end of the line, Trudeau's popular.
Yep. Look, I mean, you recall 9/11. The day on 9/10, George W. Bush was quite unpopular president. On 9/12 or 9/13, after he got on the pile of rubble with a megaphone, he was extremely popular. So these kinds of disturbing events, they can change popular opinion in a heartbeat.
Okay. And I get that, and I can appreciate that. I guess what I'm looking at is, you've been watching this story for the last couple of weeks, putting your scientific hat on for this. How dangerous is this situation right now?
Very, very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. Whoever's doing this is risking all out war. So if I were guessing, and I believed it was China, they're distracting us at home while they encircle Taiwan. They're encircling Taiwan right now with a flotilla. That has me a wee bit concerned. I'm going to give you straight up, Dave. I don't want people to let me scare them, but I think they ought to be told the truth by people that understand geopolitics. We are headed to war with China. China and Russia are already committing acts of war inside our country and in Europe. They are harming people. They are destroying infrastructure. They put bombs on airplanes that went off in airports, and people have their head in the sand and they're ignoring this. And there's enough firepower to destroy Taiwanese manufacturing in ships surrounding Taiwan. China is determined and Russia is determined to try to talk us into stopping. We cannot afford to. We are right on the precipice of an ugly world war.
And do you think that these drone incursions are a way to try and get the U.S. back into some sort of conflict?
No, I don't believe it's a false flag. I believe that the adversary is saying, you cannot protect your airspace. You F with us, we're going to go ugly. And we have had open borders for 2 decades. And my guess is there are 100,000 sleeper agents, terror teams inside the United States ready to do it.
It'll be fun.
No, it won't when all the infrastructure collapses and nobody knows how they're going to eat.
Science Bob, move up to our place. We got lots of deer. Back up, la 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 la, right? And just get your butt up here. You know, run the border. We got nobody patrolling it anyways. You'll be safe.
Yeah, you're going to have massive tariffs if you don't close it.
Oh yeah, I know. It's all part of the big plan, my friend. All part of the big plan. You know, let's get back. We got about 3.5 minutes. And when we come back from the break at the bottom of the hour, I want to get into the governmental side of this, you know, the way that people are really, you know, playing this, that they don't know what's going on. But overall, you know, before we get into that, do you see this just being a phase of things, or do you see this continuing for another 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months?
There is a critical moment coming up, and I will explain it to the people when we come back and why it's a critical moment. But the critical moment is in January.
I get that, and I can appreciate that. You know, it is a really weird, strange time right now with everything in the geopolitical world that is going on. And you know, I'm trying so hard to stay away from politics on this show.
You don't need to be political to comment on what is being done operationally, and there are things going on that really worry me.
The one thing that I do want to say is I don't think it's alien at all. I don't think there's any aliens happening in
I
New
believe
Jersey.
they're being monitored. I believe they're monitoring us.
But I don't think any of these drone sightings are little dudes with big black eyes from Zeta Reticula saying, hey, could you take us to the next, you know, part of the Taylor Swift tour because we missed it.
Yeah, the UFO crowd is bought in hook, line, and sinker, but I believe there is a component of that. But most of it is our adversaries are screwing with us.
I find that very hard to believe right now. I understand it. I do believe it is possible. I'm not denying what you're saying is wrong, or that, you know, I'm not trying to put everything.
So let's suppose the other side is contemplating that. They want to see how things would go. So they would put 1,000 drones in over the United States to see what we do. Based on what we do, they would sit down and make computations and war game it.
And that's what leads me to believe of whether or not it's a red flag or not.
Yeah, but the reason we do not want to reveal to our adversaries our current defensive capabilities. We want them to go into war mode before we show those. We're not going to show them what we can do before they get kinetic. But once they do, they're in trouble.
Okay. 30 seconds left. And I'm just trying to, you know, this is where you get hit with 100 questions with 30 seconds to go before we go to break at the bottom of the hour. Science Bob is our guest tonight. Drones over New Jersey is the big topic of the night. And you know, the one thing that this is doing, Bob, is this story is stirring up a lot of people staring up at the sky, looking for them aliens, looking for them drones, them UAPs, which we know are man-made. You know, if you're looking for UFOs, you ain't going to find them in New Jersey right now. You really aren't. Those are UFOs. You got UAPdom happening in New Jersey right now. Spaced Out Radio with Science Bob, Dr. Bob McGwier, continues with the second half hour right after this, everybody. All right, we are clear. I'm way behind in the chat room right now because it's packed. Mark Sanchez in your Hawaiian shirts. Nice to see you. Hi, Lee the Bee. Nice to have you here. Uriel Perez. We were just talking about the bus-sized drone in New Jersey. Who are they up there, Romeo? We are going to get into that in the second half hour. We're going to get more into all of that here coming up. We're going to try and figure this out. Okay, it'll be a good conversation. Guys, I do want to get your questions in hour number 2. I will try and get them as quickly as possible. I know there's a lot of people in here right now very interested in this subject. Do me a favor, starting in hour 2 after the break, put your questions in capital letters, because old Davy's eyes, my eyes suck. Let's just be honest. Okay. And I can read the capital letters much better on questions. So if you could do that, I'd appreciate it. Since we do have so many people here already tonight, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell. This might be your first time ever tuning us in. We are a live radio show. We are not a podcast. We are not just a YouTube channel. So we do have to take commercial breaks every half an hour to appease our radio brothers and sisters. And if you could do me a favor and hit subscribe, ring that bell, and it's Spaced Out Radio on all social media networks and podcast networks. Let's see here. The mustached Jason Guimet from UAP Studies. This is a guy who literally has his wife run down to Michael's 3 times a week to get candles so he can wax his mustache. You can't make this stuff up. He goes through, and I'm not talking just the thin party candles. I'm talking those big, thick candles. The wife always stacks them in 3s. You got the real tall one and then the 2 cylinders on the side. Yeah. He melts down 3 of those every week to wax his mustache. It's true. And if you aren't following UAP Studies podcast on YouTube, shame on you. Shame on you. It's one of the best out there. All right. Overlander BC, how you doing? And who else is here? Mennonite Abe has made a rare appearance. Let's see here. Ozzy Ange, nice to see you. Dick Daigle, the former first rounder and first overall pick in the NHL. He's not a bust, people. He is not a bust. Paramarv, how you doing? And Deborah Rooney, thank you. And for that awesome super chat. I keep having this troll in the chat room telling me there's no G in ganachery. Yeah, totally weird. You know what? That's the type of person who will like make a really nice sweet strudel vegan. You don't want that. You don't want that at all. No, she's still in the chat room. Oh, yeah. See, I'm safe here. She's over there. I'm safe here. I have a lock on the door. She doesn't know where my axe is. Let's see here. Alien Critter, how you doing? Damn right's Alien Critter. Damn right's. If Dave had one of those drones flying over New Jersey, he would use it to order Taco Bell. There's nothing more truthful than that. Nothing more truthful than that. Little Food Stamps, how you doing? It's okay that you're late. Okay. We never give up the good stuff in the first half hour, people. You know why? Because people are still coming in. It's the second half hour where we start to get to the juice. That's right. Bullshit on that. Aaron Stone, how you doing? Welcome to SOR Chat. AA Ron. Bob, Joe wants to know if you're sleeping. Bob fell asleep on us during a round table a couple of years ago, and Joe will not allow him to forget it.
If you had to sit next to those two guys and try to stay awake while they're flapping their jaws, you'd have trouble too.
I think you fell asleep to one of our former weekend hosts who would talk for 12 minutes at a time.
12 minutes at a time, and another one that said the same sentence 40 times in a broadcast. And then the other one.
Hello and welcome to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Very glad to have you all here talking drones in New Jersey with Science Bob. Reminder to all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, you can always check out our free archives by going to YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. Science Bob is here. Dr. Bob McGwier talking about all things drones in New Jersey. We got a power comment, Bob, from somebody in our chat room. You guys suck. You guys suck. That's it.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Yes, yeah, we suck. So, hey, you can't please them all. And some people, you know, drive at times with 3 flat tires and can't figure out why they aren't getting good mileage on their car. I would assume this is one of those people. So that's okay. That's okay.
Yep.
You know. Anyways, let's roll with this for a minute, Bob. Let's get to the politics side of this. We delved on it just.
Let me make a statement.
Sure.
China has openly declared, and President Xi has so ordered, that his army will be ready to attack Taiwan in under 2 years. And they are doing everything they can to prep the battlefield. They are banking into our ships along with all our allies. They are encircling Taiwan and firing missiles into the South China Sea. They are insisting on informing us that they are getting ready. Well, so are we. And we've given Taiwan a guarantee that's as strong as NATO's mutual defense clause. And we've got Korea, Japan, Philippines, and Australia, and others to a lesser degree, all in with us. And China's very worried that they can't get it done quickly enough to stop us from interdicting everything they need to survive in 1 month through one narrow strait where everything comes and everything goes. And we're preparing, if they get huffy, to end their existence. We won't do it with nuclear weapons. We'll do it by starving them to death. And so, and they seem to be insistent that they're going to take these actions. It's irresponsible for us to do anything except prepare. That's what we're doing, is we're preparing. Russia is sending people nonstop inside the United States and into Europe, conducting sabotage and terroristic acts and murdering people. And so I'm just telling you, people don't want war. It's too late. We are at war now. We haven't gone to Congress and declare it, but there's not a person in Washington, D.C. that does not actually know it.
Well, I mean, you always got to prepare for what's happening in the world. That is for sure. And when you're the world's only superpower, you are the policemen and women of the world.
Well, we guaranteed it. We guaranteed the world that would be our role in 1944 at the Bretton Woods Summit as World War II was coming to a close. The system we set up is still going. It's teetering and tottering right now, and it may fall apart, but the world will be worse off for it. Because if we pull back and don't have our Navy patrol all the oceans of the world, piracy and ugliness will return.
Very true. Very true on that, Bob. As we continue on with Science Bob and friends, let's get back to the drones in New Jersey right now, because now there are people all around the United States claiming that they are having drones flying over their cities, whether it's in Colorado, California, Arizona, Nevada, and every state in between. Is this panic, or is this clickbait, or do you think this is happening?
All of the above. Some of it's real, some of it's clickbait, and some of it's panic. I saw helicopters called military helicopters called drones. I've seen jet airplanes called drones. I've heard and seen them on YouTube and on audio recordings. There's a lot of panic going on because people don't know what's going on. The secrecy harms people's trust in government and doesn't give them enough information but upon which they can act. Because the government's scared of collapsing the world's economy with fear. They're juggling balls and doing the best they can.
Well, it is something that we're keeping an eye on. But when you have these local politicians and state politicians, state police officers saying that we have no clue on what these are, isn't it just a little bit strange that these people wouldn't be tipped off to what is actually happening? Because I don't believe for a second that the U.S. military doesn't know who, what, where, when, why, and how on these right now.
Local politicians have a right to be upset because they're not being told what's going on. Because I am certain that the federal government and our military and intelligence services are still in large-scale information gathering mode. And they want to try to see what their sources can say and tell them, what our sensors can say and tell us. And pretty soon we're going to take some action, like take a few down and see what's going on. We will take them down and see what's going on.
I mean, this is almost reminiscent, Bob, of what the U.S. government did to Arizona Governor Fife Symington during the Phoenix Lights.
Yep. They hung him out to dry.
So,
and Stephenville, Texas, that was one of the worst cases. 1,000 people saw a UFO a mile wide and saw jets from a local air base near Fort Worth, Texas, flying all over the place, and denied it for a month until a very nice, smart guy who is in SCU and was MUFON research director got the radar tapes and proved they were liars.
Right. Right. I want to read something to you because one of my favorite researchers to follow on X is a gentleman named Lester Nair, who is a former guest on this show.
Yeah, Lester's a good guy.
Is nothing short of brilliant. At Lester Nair on X, if you want to check him on out. He types a post earlier today, and I think it's brilliant. He goes, "Let me get this straight. 1, the Pentagon is aware of the drone situation. 2, they have no evidence it's coming from a foreign entity or adversary. 3, they are not U.S. military drones. 4, it's not an Iranian mothership. 5, The FBI knows nothing. 6, local law enforcement know nothing. 6, none have been shot down. A total and complete breakdown of the illusion of control over U.S. airspace.
No, it has destroyed the illusion of we control our airspace. We have open skies, and that has been a thing that has worried all national security people for a long time. I mean, the Department of Homeland Security has got to be pulling its hair out.
So you would think after 9/11, if we go backwards a little bit here, that they would have taken this whole, protecting the U.S. airspace a little bit more seriously if these are incursions from other countries.
Yeah. Look, we are not as badly off as we were on 9/10/2001, but we're making some of the same mistakes.
What are those mistakes?
We're not doing enough coordination with locals who will have to deal with the aftermath. The federal government is not equipped to deal with all the aftermath of major incidents. It needs to work in cooperation with state and local governments, but they can't do anything unless they're informed.
Okay, so explain to our audience then again, if these incursions are happening over U.S. military bases, sensitive areas, armament companies, we have the weaponry to take these down without shooting a bullet or a missile. Okay. Direct energy weapons, which the U.S., they try and hide that they don't have, but everybody knows that they have, could easily bring one of these down, probably with minimal damage. If they're flying over an Air Force base, an Army base, or whatever, why hasn't this been done yet?
Okay, so we do not know what tampering prevention is in these craft. So let's suppose we do what you're saying, and it has a sensor and it says, okay, you're about 25 feet off the ground, go ahead and blow up. And it lights off many pounds of C4. That's going to cause a lot of damage, Dave. So the rules of engagement are almost certainly, while they are in your area, inside your perimeter, do not fire on unless you are fired on, and wait until you get a command to follow them out and take them down someplace else. I guarantee you, we're going to find an opportunity. We're going to take one down. But I am told that our most powerful electronic warfare mechanism for taking down drones has not worked.
Why is that?
They've done something to prevent it. The normal way those things access those systems does not work.
But wouldn't the U.S. have the technology, and maybe I'm thinking Hollywood movie aspect here, but wouldn't they have the technology to break into that or to pick up the signal to redirect it?
Yes, but not in the way you're thinking. In other words, they understand how some of these systems work. And if they understand how they work and they found an attack vector, they will attack the thing using what they've learned. But if they've never seen it before, they never had access to it, they don't understand what transmission methods they're using, maybe they're sniffing them and they're not saying anything because they're operating autonomously. And so the things are quiet in communication, and they're here just to stir up stuff to see what we'll do. And they probably got boatloads of sensors running in there. And so they're testing us to see how we react and recording it.
That to me seems highly complicated.
It is complicated,
but
that is the way we have been operating with our adversaries since World War II. That is the modus operandi for all armed forces in the world. You test the system to see how they react. And that's the reason all of our reconnaissance airplanes are unarmed.
I feel like at this time we should say hello to all the agents and agencies out there tuning us in tonight. Don't forget to give us a call sometime and say hello. You already got the phone number.
Yeah, Dave would like a job. Go ahead and call him up and offer him one.
Hold on. Let me put on my NSA hat here just so I feel a little bit comfortable with that decision. Thank you to the member of the NSA who gave this to me, by the way. Appreciate that. But nonetheless, Bob, here's my theory on this whole thing. And this is what I've been telling our audience. I look at timelines. I love timelines and patterns. This drone flap started out realistically within days of the second UFO hearing when Arrow was called to the Senate for hearings.
Yep.
That's when this started.
Yep.
This, and due to the fact that there was talk on the Hill about UFOs within a week.
Yep.
And this starts. To me, that is way too coincidental of this not being part of the threat narrative that so many people have been talking. Even Lou Elizondo is coming out saying this really looks American made. All of this.
I'll give you my interpretation. I'll just go ahead and give it to you. The stuff did not really ramp up until the election was over and they knew what was going to happen. If there was going to be continuity of government with the old administration, this would have much less likely to happen. And what are the circumstances that cause me to believe that's what this is? Donald Trump and Joe Biden, they do not like each other. Donald Trump does not trust anyone in law enforcement or the intelligence community. So he is not allowing his people to interact after getting cleared and security clearance with people inside the Biden administration so they can tell him what the heck is going on. So they can inform him how they know what's going on and the things they believe he should worry about when he is inaugurated on January the 20th. So we're going to have a president and his entire team come into office knowing nothing because he has not cleared a single person to have access to that information. Now, if you are an adversary and you figure you're sitting there figuring out weaknesses, the moment 12:01 of the day he's inaugurated is absolutely the best time to attack because they're utterly, completely, totally unprepared. They have not gotten a briefing. They don't know what's going on in the world. They haven't said anybody go inside. That is a disastrous mistake for the United States of America, and it's childish.
Well, I mean, all politics is childish right now.
Yeah, but that is traitorously incompetent. You cannot come into the most powerful military superpower in the world and have no idea what's going on. That's just wrong.
Well, we're going to figure it out.
We don't have a choice.
We gotta, we have to. The drone situation here, though, and we will get to audience questions, like I said, in the next hour, because I know there's a lot of our audience members who want to ask you questions on this. We're already storing them here. Okay. How do we know that this isn't some U.S. technology where they are testing radar systems on these bases? Okay.
So let me tell you why. We do not test those radar systems in war mode against blue on red battles anywhere except test ranges. And we've got thousands and thousands and thousands of square miles of test ranges all up and down the Rocky Mountains in the desert. That's what they're there for. You don't need to test them near populations and active military bases. You want to go to places designed for that testing. That way you can try all sorts of scenarios, all sorts of attempted invasion of systems. That's the right place because it's instrumented and prepared to conduct the testing at a high tempo and a high level of competence with engineers on site to fix problems. That's how it is done. You do not test that kind of stuff with civilian populations looking on and endangering them and endangering $1 billion worth of hardware.
I get that. I can appreciate that.
It's not done. It's not done, Dave.
Well, I understand that, Bob. You know, I guess when I'm looking at, I'm no professional. I'm just a person who's observing. If I am a foreign adversary, I am not putting lights on my drone. I'll put night vision cameras, but I'm not putting an exorbitant amount of lights on my drone.
Absolutely right. But if you want to stir up the population and scare them before you send in the ones that are stealthy and secret, this is what you would do. You'd stir them up, get the United States to overreact, then you'd send in the serious stuff to see what you can get away with. And after that, once you found a weakness, you'd attack.
Well, hell would break loose then.
Yeah, we fly our air reconnaissance planes on the borders of our adversaries in daylight so they can see us.
That's different, though. They didn't with the U-2 or the SR-71.
True. We don't do those kind of overflights anymore with things like U-2s and the SR-71s.
That's because you have the SR-75 now.
No, that's because we have satellite imagery.
Did you work on those?
I might have.
One of these days, I'm going to get you on that one, Science Bob. One of these days. It's only been 5 years. But one of these days, you're going to cave for me. 2 minutes to go before we go to break here at the top of the hour. Dr. Bob McGwier, we call him Science Bob around here. Drones over New Jersey is the topic that we are getting at. Bob, when you get to some of these bigger drones that are out there.
Ooh, they're big.
You got to park them somewhere. Why wouldn't the military just bring up a bunch of Apache helicopters, Chinooks, Kiowas, Huey Cobras, whatever they have? These things got to land. Why not just follow them to where they're going to land?
How do you know they're not?
Well, with the hysteria they're trying to create, it would behoove them to actually do that.
I'm telling you, the way we work is we love night vision and working when they can't see us. And we'll send in extremely capable teams and rig them so they're not detectable.
For those of us who don't know what that may mean, please, in 40 seconds, please explain that.
Yeah, we look, inside the United States, the military can't operate. So it'll be the Federal Bureau of Investigation and Department of Homeland Security. And so they've got to go in stealthily, unseen by the adversary, and follow these things to ground. That takes time, Dave, and planning.
And on that note, Bob, do you think then that this is part of the UAP threat narrative that they've been talking about, or is this something completely different?
No, the other shoe dropped on that in the last week and nobody paid attention. the National Defense Authorization Act for 2025 folded arrow into the drone folks.
Top comment of the night from the Great White Phantom. Dr. Bob, Motel 6 called. They want their curtains back that you keep making shirts out of. We needed that to end hour number 1 of Spaced Out Radio. More drone talk and your questions if you're in our YouTube or social media chat room. Next on Spaced Out Radio.
This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott.
Oh, God, I needed that comment.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Brilliant.
That is hilarious.
Oh, God, that's good. That's good.
I like my colorful shirts.
Yeah, you do. Where's the overalls?
I just didn't wear them tonight. I got 5 pairs in the closet. I'll put one on sometime.
Nice. All right, guys, we're all going to go to break here. We're going to put Science Bob in the green room. We are about 5 minutes away from getting the next part going. If you're new here, this is a live radio show, and we will be right back with hour number 2. Fab 22, how you doing? And the rest of you can wait. How about that? Just wait. Put your questions in capital letters. When I get back, I'm going to start putting them in the system. All right, I'm back. All right, we got 2 minutes here. We're just timing everything out for our radio stations. That's why we take the breaks. Fernanda Perez, how are you, my beautiful friend? Good to see you. Great White Phantom. That comment was brilliant. Just brilliant. All right, who else do we have here that we could say hello to? Sweet Robbie G. What's happening, buddy? Gary, I know that's not a question, but I am going to ask Bob about that. Fernanda, we got to get a hold of each other on Facebook so we can get you back on this show. Lacey Blue, how are you? Good to see you. Quantum Gut Feeling, how you doing? Welcome to SOR Chat. Peter Benton, how you doing? Big thank you tonight to Richard, Cosmic Joe, Debaruni, and Gary for the super chats. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis, so thank you very, very much. And, of course, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store on our website. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag, so make sure you check it on out. You can actually wear our clothing in public and be proud of it. Here we go with the next hour, everyone. All right, let's kick off hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, Science Bob and friends, talking about the drones of New Jersey coming on up here. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Galactometer. Galactometer is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. All right, we have our good friend, Dr. Bob McGwier. We call him Science Bob around here. We're talking about the drone infiltration of New Jersey. Is this a warlike effort from an adversary? Is it something else? Is it aliens? Well, we don't think it's aliens, but, you know, we can't rule it out either. Science Bob, welcome back to the show.
Happy to be here.
All right, my friend. We're glad to have you here, too, as well. Do you want to get to some audience questions, or do you want me to continue?
No, let's go ahead. I'm sure they've got plenty.
Yeah, they're starting to pile up here. Let's start off with in the studio here. What if they are from the future, and what if we are on a field trip to see the base that got destroyed and observing?
That would be interesting. I would love to have that technology, but I mean, since I have not had it and don't know it, I don't know what the deal would be. But oh boy, would that be interesting. Of course, I'd go back and look at things in the past that I want to see.
All right. I want to ask you before we go any further, why do you think this is not extraterrestrial?
Oh, I'm not saying parts of it are not extraterrestrial, but I think the simplest explanation is the United States peer adversaries are screwing with us, and they're testing us to see how we react in certain situations.
All right, let's move on to another question here. Let's go to Romeo. First time in our chat room. Thank you, Romeo, for joining us. This is going to make people mentally and physically sick. The stress. What's your thoughts?
Romeo, I completely agree. I mean, look, people get upset with me when I talk about potential war between us and China. But one must understand that the responsible thing for a government to do to protect itself and the people that live inside its borders or on places it runs and owns and protects is to prepare for those eventualities. And that means inspect every incident and see whether or not it is a potential endangering threat. And that's exactly what the US government is doing now with what's going on. But the facts are, just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean no one's out to get us, because China and Russia and North Korea and Iran, they are out to get us because they don't want us in their way.
All right, let's move on to another question here, Bob, as we continue on with Science Bob and Friends. And let's go to, let's see here. Let's go to Overlander. Drones are from DARPA, Lockheed, or similar, and forming a defense grid for possible multi-warhead strike from Russia's new supersonic missiles. Yes or no?
I say no. We already have defense mechanisms for their supersonic missiles. The problem with trying to stop supersonic missiles in a war theater like Ukraine is you won't be the target, so it won't come straight at you. So we have protection mechanisms in the best possible place, at the very places we are certain they are targeting. And it's 1,000 times easier to take them out, even if they're hypersonic, if that's where we're located. We are prepared. We won't get them all, but we'll get enough.
All right, let's move on to another question here. Let's go to our good friend Mexi Chicken Wraps. Is there a way to attach a nano drone to one of these and play their game with them?
I certainly hope so. And if we're not trying to do that, we're failing.
Let me tell you, Lorelei there, Mexi Chicken Wrap, that's my favorite wrap at her restaurant, Solstice Tea Room and Ganachery. I don't know why she throws it.
I love a good wrap, especially a good full blown Mexican wrap with either green or red salsa and all sorts of goodies inside. Little black beans, yeah.
I try to have one at least once to twice a week.
There you go. That's good for your insides.
Yeah. Go to her Facebook page, Solstice Tea Room and Noshery, and hit like. If you're ever in our little town, you can stop in there. Jules is asking, when they say that the drones go dark, what exactly does that mean? Lights off? Stealth to all sensors? Disappear? What?
The former and not the latter. Lights off and stealth to all sensors. Stop emitting, turn your lights off. I doubt if we see them disappear, like they suddenly vanish from radar, then we know something. Then it's much more likely they're not necessarily from around here.
From Brisbane, Australia, Chill Farm is asking, what kind of spot does that leave AUKUS? Indo-PACOM is hot.
AUKUS is our ally. And we are working with them all the time to improve their abilities, because that helps us in addition to helping them. And they know, just as we know, that China is acting ugly. And so they're preparing with us. The latest news is, as you know, that Australia is about to become a nuclear navy with nuclear submarines that we build. And they'll have the ability and industry down there to repair them and keep them up and operate them for decades. And this is so, remember I talked about that strait that's 15 miles wide that chokes China off? That will be part of Australia's job with those submarines, is to choke that off so China will have to behave, because they can't afford to misbehave.
All right, let's move on here to another question from our great audience. Let's go to Kim in San Francisco. We got listeners all over the world tonight. This is great.
That's good.
Kim's asking, Science Bob, could it be non-human intelligence, aka aliens?
So if we see on the sensors, like they suddenly go dark and disappear from radar, or they outrun our jets, or they do strange motion that seems to be impossible physically, that would be evidence that they are non-human intelligence. I mean, if they're doing things that we can't figure out even how to do with our physics, then they can't be from around here.
I guess that's just plain and simple right there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get much easier than that. Let's go to Paul. Are there reports of these drones changing clock time? Just a bunch of bunk?
No, there are apparently electronic phenomena going on that screw with clocks in devices. This has come from multiple sources, so it is at least partially true, in my opinion.
What a great time we're in right now. Time clocks changing due to drones. Dear leader getting rid of our pointy sticks. What a great time. Great time. All right, let's move on here. Let's go to, this is Gary. You know Gary.
Yeah.
Okay. Gary is from the 2004 Nimitz incident. This is more of a comment, but I wanted to get your thoughts on this, Bob. This flap is being done on purpose to saturate the world with explainable UAP. Then they put the cat in the bag the same way Blue Book did. What's your thoughts on that, Bob?
Gary and I, that was the thoughts I was putting out earlier. It's bad guys and good guys can both play with this stuff for their purposes. I believe it's mostly bad guys, but there could be some of the good guys doing stuff. I mean, I have this picture of me sitting at a table with Melinda Leslie in Huntsville, and on my right shoulder is Melinda, and on her right shoulder is David Grush, and around the table is our fellow friend there. And he came up and talked to us afterwards, and I had no idea who he was.
Gary has strong beard game.
Yeah, he's got a great beard.
Fantastic beard. And that's why we love him around here. Jeff Steve Garvey is asking, Bob, why so much hype in the UFO community rather than?
The UFO community has been psyoped with optimum precision by secret keepers. They brought them up to this place where they really felt like we were getting told that aliens are real and here's what they constitute, and then boom, they slammed the door over on us and shut it all down. And so the community grew. It grew loud, it grew raucous, and it grew with lots of energy. And the energy's got to go somewhere. So this is yet another thing to come in and use that energy. So I believe that our adversaries are using that energy against our country. We'll see. There's not enough information to know yet.
Why do you think they're being so silent on this and being very vague on it?
They don't want to talk about our sensors. The number one thing is don't tell the adversary how you do your business. That allows them to figure out how to evade what you do.
All right, let's move on to another question here. Let's go to Joe. Is it possible that the UFOs will become jealous of all the attention that the drones are getting and show themselves?
All sorts of predictions are coming from experiencers that 2025 is the year they show up en masse. And for all I know, this is the opening salvo. I think it's pure adversaries. Time will tell.
I don't think the aliens are coming just yet. I know we're the greatest reality television show in the universe right now, but I think they're smarter than coming out to play with us right now. We're too violent. Paul is asking, Bob, who have you talked to in regards to the New Jersey phenomena?
Well, I lived in New Jersey for 20 7 years. So I know a lot of people there, and I've talked to UFO people I know that are up there looking around. And there are 2 people I know well that are into UFO stuff that are gone out and looked for the things and found them. I don't have any contact with any officialdom in New Jersey. So I'm listening to news reports, talking with people that have a view of the inside of the U.S. government and the UFO community, and people that I know that live in New Jersey. I lived and worked in Princeton for 27 years.
All right, let's go over to who's next here. Let's go to Paul again. Different Paul this time. Is there anyone publicly recording these drones in 8K or far better video?
I have not seen it, so I don't know the answer.
I would assume, Bob, that any type of government official right now has been looking into this to make, to get better video quality, probably setting up our own drones if they don't know what it is.
Yeah, I saw somebody with a telescope that had and a really high quality camera, and they had it looking like an orb because they had it massively out of focus. It was pathetic. We need somebody that knows what they're doing with high quality equipment.
That ain't me. Definitely not me. PRM is asking, before the first break, Bob, you teased about wanting to talk about something important happening in January.
I already did, so let me repeat it. January 20th, President Trump is inaugurated. He will come in unless he changes his stance and sends his people inside to talk to the current people in government, not be informed about what's going on. There are a set of procedures that have to be gone through to prepare them, prepare briefing books, etc., so they can learn what's going on. If they come in on day one of the administration with no idea what's happened in the last month in the world because they won't even show up to be told, that's a problem. And that is when I would attack if I were our adversary. While they're ill prepared. Because all authority to act by Biden and his White House ends at noon on January 20th, and it's all up to Trump. I hope he prepares. I would like for him to succeed so our country succeeds.
All right, Bob, let's move on to another one here. Let's go over to Jeremy. Another theory is that these drones are ours and they are doing reconnaissance on a possible bioweapon or nuclear attack planned. Have you heard that, Bob?
If they were, they wouldn't be looking over our military bases. They would be looking out where they think the nuclear or bioweapons are. I bet you, I am absolutely certain that we have all sorts of sensors aimed at these things to see what bio or nuclear or chemical weapons they have on board. And I don't know the answer because they're not talking.
Dick Daigle is asking, Dave, when do you think JT Miller is coming back? Hockey question in the middle of all this. He's skating with the team again, probably back soon. Hey, we're going to throw a hockey question in there if we have an opportunity to.
There you go.
There we go. Bob's like, who the hell is JT Miller?
I have no clue.
He's one of the Americans' top power forwards in hockey, plays for the Vancouver Canucks. All right. Jules is asking, could drone stuff like this be subcontracted out to private industry for state actors' plausible deniability?
No, look, the stuff is contracted out to private industry to construct. Then the control systems are documented and turned over to military and government officers. So private industry is definitely involved.
Peter is asking, could it be possible to get a tracker somehow on at least one of these drones so then maybe we can find out where it goes? Just a thought.
This question was asked earlier, and I'm going to give exactly the same answer. If we're not trying, we're incompetent.
Oh, I think they're trying. I think they already know where they're landing and everything. I mean, we're just not that stupid. Not that stupid whatsoever.
People have no true understanding of our surveillance and reconnaissance capabilities. We know a lot. I don't think we know everything, but we know a lot. But they're protecting their sources and methods.
It's Canadian syrup. That's what it is. Dropping Canadian syrup. All of New Jersey will not be able to drive tomorrow because we're going to hit every windshield with Canadian syrup.
There you go.
Maple syrup.
They'll finally act sweet in that state.
Oh, hey, if you've never tried snow and maple syrup, that is like candy up here. Oh, yeah. Same as Fireball and snow. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Carl, not the human one. Different human Carl. My personal opinion is that it's both. The deep state is using their tech to move forward with their agenda, and real UFOs are checking in to see WTF is going on. Bait by the deep state.
All possible. I don't deny any of it. I don't agree that that's what's going on, but it is possible that's what's going on.
We know that UFOs in weird times seem to observe things, Bob.
They absolutely do. They have, as long as we've had recorded history. We saw them fly all around all of our airplanes and ground forces in World War II, and we call them Foo Fighters.
All right, let's move on here. Let's go over to Sierra. So we got 3 minutes, Bob, before we got to go to break at the bottom of the hour. How are humans supposed to stop having wars and being warlike if other countries are attacking us and we need to defend ourselves? Are ETs so out of touch?
I think that they have a prime directive, just like Star Trek. They're not allowed to interfere in our internecine squabbles. I believe that if we went to a destroy the planet nuclear war, they would intercede. And the cost would probably be, okay, we don't want to lose this Garden of Eden, so we're going to scrub it of this virus called humanity and start over.
Could be. Leave the Canadians alone, though. We're pretty innocent. We're innocent. You know, just the way they are. We'll apologize for the world. Hey, if you can't accept a Canadian apology, yeah, you're just not human or alien. Andromeda is asking, so we got 2 minutes, Bob. You said a drone could be bigger. Does it mean that there is a person flying it like a UFO?
There are people operating them remotely. The purpose of a UAS is not to risk a live entity. You're using them remotely.
So could some of these be manned, in your opinion?
No, because they're all unmanned. These are unmanned aerial systems.
How do we know that if we don't
They're
know?
not large enough to support a human being.
What about those? What am I trying to say here?
I just don't think these are. I don't think these are manned. But look, I'm not looking inside. I'm telling you what I think. I think that they are controlled remotely, or they're run autonomously by a computer on board.
One more. Casey's asking, could NHI be a form of collective intelligence of a terrestrial being?
I think from all my reading and talking to experiencers and other people that are involved, including people that claim to have worked with them, they do have a form of collective intelligence.
Bob, I'm going to get you to hold on right there. So we got about 20 seconds left. We have Science Bob for another 30 minutes here on Spaced Out Radio. Of course, the big topic that is going on right now is these drones in New Jersey. They're popping up elsewhere as well. We're trying to figure out what is going on. Are they human? Are they aliens? Are they adversaries? Or is it Canadian maple syrup being dropped? Lots of possibilities on Spaced Out Radio.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, Bob, we're clear. Big hello to Draculich. Welcome to SOR Chat. Country Carpenter, how you doing? And Sweet Robbie G's favorite word, moist. Loves the word moist. All right, let's see here. Okay, Draculticon, how you doing, buddy? Let's see here. Who else is coming on in? Travis William Moostus, how you doing, brother? Let's see here. I don't know how this chat room's moving. Like I am like way behind here. It's kind of cool. Super Ron, what's happening? Ben Eubanks, thanks for coming on in. Dogface Simon, Vanessa, thank you both for joining us. Lex Diaz, good to see you. He likes juicy too. That's right. It's not too cold here, Draculticon. How much snow? How much snow are we supposed to get this weekend? That's not much. 10. What is 10 centimeters in inches? 2.5 inches? Centimeters. I can't convert that. Let's go 10 centimeters. Oh, it's just under 4 inches of snow. No, not much. You're going to Barkerville?
Barkerville Christmas on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. We have, just so you guys know, we have about, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 questions for Bob to fit into the next 30 minutes. We might take 3 or 4 more, but if we don't get to your question by the time Bob is done, I do apologize. We'll do our best. We notice there is a lot of newbies tuning on in tonight. If you are new, could you do me a favor? Hit subscribe, ring that bell. We are here 7 days a week. I'm Monday through Friday. Sweet Robbie G is Saturday and Sunday for after hours. We'd love to have you guys help make our channel bigger and better. And tune on in. Tune on in. Yeah. Spaced Out Radio on every social media platform except Instagram, where we're Spaced Out Radio Show. We own the night. We're better than them drones. We own the night. They don't. We do. Oh, Mennonite Abe, I totally forgot about the KFC fire log. Oh my God. Have you seen that? KFC? They make a fire log that smells like KFC chicken. Yes. Yeah. I would totally want to try one of those. I may try to eat it. I'm not going to lie. I'll probably die from the chemicals inside, but it's a good death. It's a good death. Once again, I will try to get all these questions in, guys. Yeah, Amy, it's only Taco Bell that I really like as fast food, and a Tim Hortons ice cap. Big thank you tonight to Richard, Cosmic Joe, Deborah Rooney, and Gary for the great super chats. Very much appreciate the love and support. Don't forget, we got a great store on our website, spacedoutradio.com. We do not have ugly swag. You can go on our store right now, pick up your ULP t-shirt. Remember the unidentified lighting phenomena? Or the brand new Friends Don't Let Friends UAP. Yeah. Go get them today. Here we go with the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. You guys are listening to our show with Science Bob on Drones of New Jersey. And we're all here together sharing in this treat that we call nighttime radio. Reminder to all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, you can always check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here's Dr. Bob McGwier. We call him Science Bob around here, and we are talking drones in New Jersey. We got audience questions continuing. Bob, this will take us right to the top of the hour. We're going to start with new listener Jeff here. If they are from outer space, wouldn't they give off radiation?
I am certain, aiming every sensor we have at them to see what they're giving off. We don't want them to be carrying a dirty bomb or a nuclear weapon or a chemical weapon or a biological weapon or any kind of weapon or anything that might harm us from the radiation. So we'll have sensors all over them. And if it becomes a dangerous situation, that is enough for us to get kinetic and warn the population.
John is asking, why would the Chinese give away their advanced technology to the U.S. by flying their drones over the U.S., where one is sure to be downed eventually?
There's absolutely no reason to think they're sending their best.
We could only wonder.
Right now, it looks like they're trying to stir us up, so they're sending things all lit up, begging us to shoot them down. And so by lighting them up and just begging us to shoot them down, our people would be suspicious that they want us to shoot them down so it can set off a weapon. I mean, you understand, this is a game. It has very serious consequences, including death and destruction. But shooting them down does not guarantee a win if it lands on a neighborhood and kills everyone in it.
Brian is asking, is it true that other drones that came close were stopped?
I don't know the answer. The smaller drones, we've stopped plenty of them. We have equipment that goes with units. Their only job is to stop those small drones. Like what Russia and Ukraine are doing to each other in Ukraine won't happen with our troops to the extent it's happening there, because we have defensive equipment.
Moving on to the next one. Let's go to Mr. Bigfoot. Did Science Bob hear about the pilot sighting over Eugene, Oregon? They have air traffic control radio recording. It occurred on December 7th or 8th, just a few days ago. What's your thoughts, Bob?
That was very, very interesting, and I only wish there had been a lot of video, but the FAA audio tapes were very interesting. I'm very happy the government is still releasing those recordings and transcripts to FOIA requests.
Explain to people what happened. I haven't heard of this.
They sighted a craft, and stuff went on, and nothing major happened, and it ended.
All right.
Look, let me make sure people understand.
Okay, please do.
Pilot sightings of UFOs has gone through the roof. And I don't have an answer why. Is it they're more aware of them, or they're actually more? I think it's they're actually more, and they're more aware of them.
All right, here we go. The next one. Let's go to Paul. What do you think, Bob, of the debunkers right now? Any validity?
Some of them, yes. Most of them, no. Most of them put out, hey, but if it's this, it has to be that. And the this, they say, disproves the case, doesn't fit all of the data. So their hypothetical case for explaining the incident doesn't work given the data. And I'm going to tell you, one of the worst and most clever is McGwier. He puts out an explanation, highly technical. You're going to be confusing to listen to it, but it sounds good, but it doesn't explain all the data. His job is obfuscation and to get in the way.
Who do you think Mick West is working for?
I don't know the answer. To me, it's irrelevant. It's a game he plays, and I like poking at him. I love poking him, and he won't block me because I do it with dignity. But I poke him and tell him where he's being a fool. And the people that are incensed are these pilots and military units that have seen all the other sensors data that discounts what he's saying. Like this business of the go fast is a balloon moving right over the water. There are 9 other sensors showing it's moving like a bat out of hell.
Do you think he picks and chooses his
Yes. He picks the ones that are easiest to target because he's trying to sow seeds of doubt amongst all of us. And I don't know why.
All right, moving on, Bob. Brian is asking, are these drones showing up on radar?
Yes.
Scott is asking, with President Xi in China, triple canopy has the capability?
I don't know.
Can you explain what triple canopy is?
I cannot.
All right. Let's go to Paramarv. Ben Rich of JPL Skunkworks once indicated that anything that the public knows is about 30 to 50 years out of date. If Taiwan is invaded, will we see some of that advanced tech?
Yes. I can tell you when I was on the inside working for the intelligence community, we were 10 to 20 years minimum ahead of everything on the outside.
Let's go to Lex. Is it possible that these drones are run by an AI gone rogue and are malfunctioning, running around in circles above New Jersey?
I do not believe that. So I say no.
Well, the way AI is going Terminator-like very quickly.
It hasn't gone Terminator yet, but this business of Google's AI lying to its interlocutors when they caught it making a mistake and told it and it lied its way around it, that is really frightening, Dave.
Oh, I agree. Who would have thought that the movie Terminator 40 some years ago would end up being a prequel to what we're having right now?
The only problem with the movie Terminator is, like all things like that, 20 years before the stuff comes true, they show the systems as much more complex, large, and hard to deal with than they actually are when they get here. A Terminator is going to be inside a humanoid. And whatever supercomputing it needs to do all it does is going to be done wirelessly.
Could be.
Terminator will have eyes and ears and whatever everywhere through its humanoid capabilities.
All right, let's continue on here, Bob. Let's go to Paul. Are we certain that these drones are fully third-dimensional objects instead of higher-dimensional entities phasing into our realm? What is the evidence either way?
All that we see videos of, get radar returns from, hear sounds from, are space-time objects. If they have a higher dimensional aspect or other dimensional aspect, I have not seen anything that even hints at that. But I'd love to.
Me too. Me too. I want to see it too, man. Let's go on. Let's go to Peter. Do you think they would continue to show up in the sky even after someone was able to down one of these things?
Depends on whether or not they've completed their mission. So they may say, they did this to down it. Let's make these adjustments and send them up again. That would be standard operating procedure. Try to fix the problem that allowed us to bring it down and see if it worked. In other words, when we reveal our capabilities, they learn from our action.
All right, let's move on here. Let's go to Panda on Fire. Did you see the drones over the airport in China? Could this be related to the New Jersey drones and potential link to the source?
I'm telling you, China has a worse drone problem than we do. They're just huge numbers flying over airports and other places like that in China. I don't know what the Chinese, I'm sure they're trying to shoot them down. Unless they've tried to shoot things down before and they got taken out. Remember in the 50s and 60s when we were shooting at things, they fought back.
True that. All right, moving on here, Bob. Let's go to John. Where are they launching from if they're Chinese? It's been a month or more and they're in a dozen different countries.
Yep, they are definitely, in my mind, in country with a little base someplace, probably off in the woods. And they're launching them from there.
Do you believe
They've had time to set this up well. Remember, they're buying property all over the U.S. and we don't control what goes in and out of that property well.
They're buying gas lines in Canada and oil refineries.
Yeah, we have got to stop all this. It's insanity. As long as they're going to go to war with us, stop helping them.
True that. True that. And let's go next to Resonate. Movies are indoctrination. Is science fiction becoming fact, or is it part of the plan to control humanity?
That's a great question. So I can say that science fiction has done so well that I think the authors are having precognition. They're getting hints of the future. Philip K. Dick was one of the best. And Margaret, what's her name, with Handmaid's Tale? The United States right now, the plan for Project 2025 is to raise the country of Gilead. That's in Handmaid's Tale. And you hear their lieutenants saying the words, guys to gals, hey, I'm in control of your body and it's mine to do with what I want. That's what the Handmaid's Tale was about. Is that coming to true? And it's headed that way if we don't get in the way.
All right, Bob, let's go to Luna. You find it odd that the flying drones of all things were compared to looking like flying SUVs. So they had box rectangle shapes. Anything odd to you about that description?
I think it's the size of, not necessarily a box. I think I've seen things that look like wings on those boxes. So I don't know the exact shape. I'd love to see a high resolution radar painted picture of one of them. We'll never see it because it'll be classified.
Luna's follow-up question. But the Bible says God elected witnesses, Elijah, Moses, Enoch, that have similar miracle powers as God. Do you believe aliens have secretly elected witnesses on earth as trusted contacts?
I believe that from the stories of experiencers I have been told that they have humans that they control with hybrids, so the hybrids can walk around in humanity, and that is essentially what we are being told by David Jacobs and other experiencers that they are doing. I don't have direct evidence. I hope they're wrong.
That's because you got to get taken more, Bob.
But I've been taking enough. I'm
Come
tired.
on.
I'm tired of them taking Lala.
Just be honest, Bob. You like a good space orgy. You do. It's okay to say that. This nighttime radio.
Yeah, but I don't like my private parts being fiddled with.
Well, you know what? Maybe it's time for them to come out of retirement. I don't know. I don't know. You know, this show just went to all hell in a handbasket right there.
Nah, we're having a good show.
All right, Bob, let's go to another question here. Let's go to Eli. Are these drones running on experimental propulsion? Witnesses say they're moving clocks forward. Can it be from reverse engineered UAP craft? Well, if they're
you and other questioners that have come around this, you are pointing at the essential piece of evidence that's allowing me to leave the non-human intelligence door open. This is the piece of evidence that says it very well might be. It's easier to explain by the Chinese. But if we see more of this, then it's got to have an NHI element. Or the Chinese have reverse engineered NHI stuff, and they're flying it over here.
All right, Bobbert. Let's go to another one. Perminator is asking, could these drones and UFO sightings be a distraction tactic deployed by adversary countries? Yes, we've been talking about that.
Absolutely, yes.
Bobbert, are you still shocked that the U.S. military is playing the I don't know card?
No, because they don't want to say what they do know, because they have to answer the question, how do you know? So it's easier just to say act dumb.
Okay, getting back to the Xi question, Scott Rosen was asking if President Xi of
Blackwater,
formerly
I don't believe I forgot the name change to Triple Canopy. I don't know that it is, so I'm going to have to leave it alone because I am ignorant of the current status.
Got to come out of retirement for that one too. Levi is asking.
The former director of Blackwater is spending a whole lot of time talking to Sean Ryan. So what can I say?
Levi is asking, does China possibly have bunkers in the USA for projects?
Almost certainly.
Luna is asking, do you believe in whole Earth theory, belief that an alien civilization is found within the Earth's interior?
There seem to be reports from all sorts of quarters that there are alien bases underground. So I believe it's possible.
I'm reading the chat room right now. Everybody's still laughing over the space orgy comment, Bob.
We have a good audience.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to WAF 007. Who says our drones, and welcome WAF or WAF 007. What do you prefer, WAF or WAF? Let me know. First time in our chat room. Thank you for joining us. Who says our drones aren't reverse engineered from drones so they look like them?
I wouldn't be willing to say that. So they could be reverse engineered. It would be in it, but we want to be careful where we display that for the first time. We want to be careful. We want to keep them hidden on test ranges until we're ready to go use them against our adversaries. Because every time you use them, the adversary figures something out.
Another new listener here, Draculich, is asking, why do you believe it's China's drones?
Because they're the most likely peer adversary on Earth to be doing it. No one else has the set of capabilities I think it would take. China does. China is playing catch up. There's a crossover that's going on though. Here's China's catch up rate, and here's China's falling apart rate. China's economy, population, and much else is falling apart. In 10 years, they won't have enough working age people to maintain their economy, and they will cease to function as the kind of state they are now. That's harsh words. Go study demographics. Their country and their population is undergoing the greatest demographic collapse in the history of man. They literally won't be able to function in a decade.
Let's go to the next question from Luna. We got 3 minutes, Bob. Bob, you see a picture of the pyramids in Uxmal, Mexico, image of spaceship and alien flying it on the ancient architectural.
I have been to all of them. So yes, I've seen it.
How
That's
did
amazing.
old civilizations?
Those are amazing. They look like somebody saw the future or had visited the future.
So the question is, how did old civilizations establish contact? A secret to call them in?
I don't know the answer. Maybe they were shown it, maybe they were told it. But you don't draw those pictures without having seen stuff.
Let's go to Lex. Aliens underground or undersea?
We know they're, as far as I'm concerned, we know they're undersea. And well, let me go. Have enough time? Yeah. Let me go over for the last couple of minutes my major incident on the USS Blue Ridge. In 2008, I went out for several months on the USS Blue Ridge on an operation. My job was to do all sorts of things on board while we visited ports and while we were at sea. During one of the middle legs of our trip, we traveled from Manila, Philippines back to Japan, and we went through a typhoon. In the middle of a typhoon with 90-knot winds and 40 or 50-foot seas, I was in the bridge enjoying the show, trying to hold on and not fall down, and I saw a glow outside, and rain stopped hitting the ship. I walked forward, looked through the window, and I could see a glow above the ship, bigger than the ship. The glow got brighter and took off straight up. I never saw the structure. I only saw the lights, but after it took off, the rain returned. That is a huge craft. The ship is over 400 feet long, and it covered all of it. And it's just a huge craft, and they're operating in our oceans, where it's easy to hide from us. Or maybe they come from an ocean world.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We got time for one more question, Bob. We got 45 seconds. Luna is asking, is my alien human hybrid blonde Pleiadian woman with blue-green eyes that is slim, tall, and naturally beautiful in the chat tonight?
Let's see.
I don't know.
Is his hybrid girlfriend in the chat? And he wants to meet her if she is.
That should not be in capital letters.
Yeah.
Just for that, you're going to get dumped. You're going to get dumped. Hope you stub your toe. Science Bob, it is always a pleasure to have you on Spaced Out Radio. Merry Christmas to you. La 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 la, Bright, and all of your family. We love you around here, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Merry Christmas to Dave and all the Scots.
And we will see you in 2025 for Science Bob and friends, Dr. Bob McGwier. Everybody, we love Science Bob around here. Coming up next, we're going to head to the swamp. Then little Timmy James will have the UFO report. He is currently stretching and cracking his neck to get ready.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, Science Bob, thank you very much.
Take care, buddy, and have a good night, everybody in chat. I'll see you soon.
We'll talk soon, okay, buddy?
Yep.
All right. Spaceman Spiff, welcome to SOR chat. And who else do we have in here? What? Scrolling on down. Trinitro, been a while since we had you in here. Thanks for jumping on in. All right, we'll be right back, guys. All right, we're back. Philip Blair, how you doing? Good to see you. Who else has jumped in here while I've been hiding? Joe Ferreira, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Jay Truth Seeker, thanks for coming on in. We're going to get going here in about 45 seconds. Big thank you to Gary, Debaruni, Joe, Richard for the great super chats. Thank you for the love and support. It helps out what we do on a nightly basis here on the mighty SOR. Bombshell Bomber, how are you? Ben Frank, what's happening? Swamp Dweller's about 4.5 minutes.
Cool.
And here we go, everybody. Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We always appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. What do you got for us tonight, Clam? Galactometer. Galactometer is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. Hey Swamp Dweller, my family has had some insane experiences with the supernatural. We are a family of women with psychic abilities and men that have just had some crazy, unexplainable occurrences. Today, I wanted to share a story with you and your followers. Something that did not happen to me, but to my uncle. He didn't use the internet often, and didn't even know how to get his story out there, so I'm submitting it on his behalf. Without further ado, this story takes place in Canada, specifically on the outskirts of Thunder Bay in the year of 2003. My uncle has always been what most would call a drifter. He was seldom in one spot for too long and would get around by hitchhiking. Christmas of 2002 leading into January of 2003, my uncle had traveled from Regina to Ontario to spend the holidays with our family. We were all located in Ontario. As the holiday season passed, he returned to Regina in the most typical fashion, hitchhiking. He had an uneventful trip until he made it to Thunder Bay. He was dropped off by a transport trucker on a lonely highway outside of Thunder Bay as far as the trucker could take him. He had wandered further and further down the highway with rarely any vehicles passing. None willing to stop and give him a ride. It was between 2 and 3 a.m. and he was frozen and started to slow his pace and take a lot of breaks along the way. He ended up standing at one spot for quite some time to try to warm himself and conserve energy. It was under a street light, and his particular area was well lit. Suddenly, he heard branches snapping behind him in the tree line, about a half a football field length away. He chalked it up to a deer or a moose, as the deep Canadian forest is full of wildlife that is quite active at night. He then heard what sounded like a groaning sound, muffled and almost sounded human, but not quite. He decided to continue walking and would speed up his pace between streetlights because he just had an eerie feeling something was wrong. and he felt something in the pit of his stomach. He could hear whatever this was in the tree line following him as he moved, but it seemed to remain in the tree line. Branches cracked, and between cracks he could hear grunts and groans. Then it hit him. The grotesque smell of raw meat that had been baking in the sun mixed with that smell of sewage. He could see a moving figure that was almost white, with patchy fur. He had never been so afraid in his whole life. With no way to call for help, and the isolating feeling brought on by the realization that not a single vehicle had passed in hours, he felt helpless and feared for his life. He tried to keep moving. Faster and faster, the creature kept his pace and remained in the tree line, almost as if it was playing with him. He stopped as he approached the last light on the street. This stretch of highway did not have many more lights after this, and the ones that were after this didn't seemingly work. He felt the most fear he had ever felt in his life at this point. The streetlight's dim light was the only sense of safety he could grasp, and now it was utterly gone. He turned to face the tree line and noticed that he couldn't see or hear anything, and thought the creature had maybe given up on him as prey. He almost sighed a breath of relief before hearing a branch snap directly in front of him. What came next has stuck with him. A shriek so loud and shrill that it made his entire body freeze up, rendering him in shock paralysis. Thankfully, headlights approached and came to a halt beside him. He hadn't even noticed the truck come near his way. He didn't even have the capacity to turn and try to catch a ride. He was still paralyzed with fear. It was a lovely man in a large black Jeep. The gentleman screamed to my uncle to get in the vehicle. He did not protest and jumped right in. Naturally, not his first instinct, as he prefers to get a feel for the person before just jumping in a car, but the man had a tone of urgency and fear, and my uncle didn't want to be a meal for whatever the hell that creature was. As soon as my uncle jumped into the Jeep, the man sped off and then parked about 20 minutes up the road and explained to my uncle what he had seen when he was approaching him on the highway. My uncle was grateful to the man. Whatever he had seen, based on the description in my uncle's in-depth research of cryptids following this experience, they all believed that it may have been some sort of Wendigo, or something of that nature. I'm just glad he wasn't a victim of a Wendigo attack.
Thank you, Swamp Dweller, for another creepy story. If you want more just like that, head on over to his YouTube channel, Swamp Dweller, and hit subscribe, ring that bell. Thousands of stories just like that for you to listen to. From the swamp to the stars, it's a UFO report. Here's Tim James.
That is an interplanetary flying space saucer. You have made me very angry. Very angry indeed.
All right, Tim James, good to have you here on the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Well, we're glad you're here.
Yeah,
we're
I am
glad,
too.
In studio tonight rather than from the basement dungeon of your own home.
Hey.
Well, 4 miles away, but that's okay.
Right.
You made the big trek through all the snowbanks.
It was terrible. I had to walk uphill both ways wearing my dad's pajamas. Okay.
Oh, jeez. You know what I'm doing tomorrow?
What are you doing tomorrow?
We have a new barber in town. Like this may not be exciting news for the people who are listening to us who actually live in cities.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
right?
but we got a new barber in town,
Mm-hmm.
and he actually does beard and straight blade shaves.
Mm-hmm.
I got one scheduled for tomorrow.
Oh, straight razor shaves are the best.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah, no kidding.
I've only ever had one straight blade. Scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, but the hot, smoking hot towels.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fap in our chat room says, if Dave was a Crayola crayon jumbo box, it would be one of those it would be the one kids hated. Just one color of all crayons, dull gray.
Yeah, but the thing is if it had the built-in sharpener on the side, it'd be the kids' favorite.
Did anybody ever use that sharpener?
I don't know.
I mean, the crayons would actually break before you got to that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Crayola.
Yes. Yes. So,
Mm-hmm.
Got any drones?
I do actually. I am going. This will be. I'm going to get into the drones, and then I'll shift gears probably a little bit later on.
Oh, yay!
Yay! But how do you follow Science Bob? I just got to say, I love Science Bob. He's so much fun.
He's pretty amazing.
Yes, he is. So
him and his weird space orgy fetish, though.
I know. Don't want to touch his private parts.
No. No.
Oh, okay.
Poor
Meanwhile, back at the ranch. So Wednesday, the Pentagon denied that any foreign country was behind mysterious drones that have flown near sensitive U.S. military sites in New Jersey. Pentagon Deputy Press Secretary Sabrina Singh said that there was no evidence that the drones have come from a foreign entity or were the work of an adversary. At no point were our installations threatened when this activity was occurring, she added in a briefing with reporters. Representative Jeff Van Drew said that he had information from very high sources that Iran was launching the drones from a mothership without providing evidence. Singh denied the claim from the lawmaker. There is not any truth to that. There is no Iranian ship off the coast of the United States, and there's no so-called mothership launching drones towards the U.S. The news comes just one day after Robert Wheeler, the assistant director of the FBI's Critical Incident Response Group, testified to Congress that the Bureau was investigating the unexplained drone sightings near sensitive U.S. military sites. We do not attribute that to an individual or a group yet, he said. We are investigating, but I do not have an answer of who's responsible. So I have 2 points, and this is Tim's commentary. So 16,500 employees across 17 different intelligence agencies with a budget of $106 billion are unable to figure out what the stuff is that's flying around in the skies in New Jersey. I'm like, okay. So that was point number one. Point number two, if we all recall last February of 2023, when the Chinese balloons were flying over, Canada and the United States, the Department of Defense went absolutely ballistic and launched fighter planes to knock down a balloon, right? But we're not worried about nefarious drones that have been flying over our military installations for weeks and stuff. We're not worried about that, but we're going to go chase that balloon down. So I'm not trying to contradict what Science Bob said today, obviously, but those are just my opinions. It's like you went crazy about the balloons, and out of all the money and the budget and the people in the Department of Defense and employees in the intelligence agencies, you can't figure out what the heck's flying over, or at least let everybody know what's going on. Rant over.
I'm going to agree with you.
Okay.
And it's rare that I do. Because,
I know.
But I am going to agree with you that I don't understand why none of these have been shot down. Now, listening to Science Bob,
Sure.
where he was saying, what if they are carrying some sort of weaponry, chemical weapons, biological weaponry, whatever it may be.
Sure.
I can understand that you don't want that set off, especially in a populated area.
No.
If it is an adversary.
Yeah, right.
I still don't believe it's an adversary.
I don't.
Okay. I don't believe for a second this is an adversary. I could be 100% wrong.
Sure.
I really could. And I tried making that point with Bob, but obviously not too well.
Right.
But here's why I believe it's not an adversary.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get over the lights.
No, I can't. I get it.
I can't get over the lights on these drones. If I'm an adversary of the United States, I would have night vision cameras on my drones, but I sure as heck would not put bright lights on them all over them.
No.
To show us where they are.
No. Definitely not.
I think this is an inside job. I think it's trying to cause mass hysteria.
Sure.
And one theory I heard from somebody today that makes a lot of sense. The U.S. isn't fighting a war right now.
Okay, yes.
And it's very rare, because usually about every 20 years, they drop the gloves with somebody.
Yeah.
And even though it hasn't been 20 years since pulling out of Afghanistan or Syria, it's only been a few years. Could this be a lead up to something else that the defense contractors want? Now, that's a little bit tinfoil conspiracy.
Sure.
But it's also showed a reality over the last 50, 60 years since Vietnam.
Yeah. Yeah. Never thought of it that way, actually. And that's true. There is a recurring pattern or a recurring theme, whatever you want to call it. No, that's true. That's true. Food for thought. I don't even know where to go with that, but yeah, that's totally train of thought that an idea that I never thought of. So,
well, here's my other theory on this.
Yeah.
With drone warfare, like I've said numerous nights the last couple of weeks, with drone warfare showing how effective it is over in Ukraine, Russia, it makes a lot of sense to test out military radars or secret military weapons or even secret drone technology over the bases to see how they react.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that is way more plausible. If we're looking for plausible theories, I don't believe it's alien whatsoever.
No, I don't.
This is UAP. This is where we get into the UAP conversation.
Yes.
Not UFO conversation.
Agreed.
And I think that this could be some sort of drone mechanism that is going on, and drone testing. That to me, that's what makes sense.
Yeah, I think that we're both on the same level with that, because again, I mean, I guess they could set up a base somewhere. It's the United States government or whatever. They could set up a fake base with all the accoutrements that they have in New Jersey or whatever. But I think you're right. I think that it's been over the desert. They've tested stuff over the desert, in deserts, and all over the place. But I don't ever recall them doing anything, or the U.S. government or anybody doing any testing over any cities where there's public being able to witness all of this. So yeah, and I mean, obviously the radar and, like you're saying, any of the stuff that's at these bases that are located near major metropolitan areas or in whatever, I'm thinking they have to test, like they've got to test it in that scenario. So it would lead me to believe that, yeah, that this is man-made, and this is, yeah, government testing equipment or whatever, contractors with the government testing equipment. I think that's exactly what it is. And then I think there's some guys out there flying their drones around just to freak people out as well, right?
I would say that's logical.
Yeah.
Januti in our chat room, first time in our chat room, thank you for coming on in, from New Jersey.
Oh, all right.
Says, why don't they tell us, though? Just let the people know so people aren't freaking out.
Yeah.
I remember talking to somebody who worked at a secret base. And one of this person's friends was a pilot, a test pilot. And this test pilot said, well, it's that time of the night to go make some UFO sightings happen.
Oh, really?
Wasn't flying a UFO.
No.
Flying American technology.
Right.
If they are testing out their new toys, new drones, new drone styles, radar operations, all sorts of direct energy weapons, they're not going to want to give up their toys.
No.
They're not going to come out and admit that these are toys we're using. Okay, so we can sneak into, in case something happens, that we could sneak into Moscow or we could sneak into Beijing.
Right.
And light it up.
Yeah.
That's not the way this is going to work. The U.S. Black Ops are very, very good at hiding things right in front of your own eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And even though you're seeing the drones, nobody is talking about it because they want you to think it's UFOs.
Right.
They want you to think it's China, Russia. There's not even an Iranian boat off the coast of New Jersey. That was proven.
Right.
Yet somehow it gets leaked that there was a boat from Iran off the coast of New Jersey where these drones were coming from.
Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because it just came into my head. Has any of, like, I haven't seen anything, so I'm asking. Have you seen any other of these, China or Russia or any of these other countries, denying that this has anything to do with them? Or are they all sitting quiet too? Because I really haven't noticed anything. You know, if I'm China and everybody's going, oh, it's China with their drones and I'd be like, no, it's not. We're not doing anything. But I don't think I've heard any rebuking from another country yet. Have you?
No, and I don't think we will.
Isn't that, yeah, that's weird though.
I don't think we will. A follow-up comment from our New Jersey listener, Januti. I'm just trying to find it. I don't think people not seeing them realize how high up they are. They are about the size of a light aircraft.
Wow.
Okay. Which would put into perspective probably maybe something smaller than the Reaper drone.
Right. Okay.
That is being used. Right. So
Yeah.
I think once again, this more if they're that size flying around and we haven't seen them.
No.
Okay. Yeah, we live in the boring area where nothing happens here unless it's aliens.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Like it's an exciting time around our town when a logging truck loses its load on a side street, which happened today, by the way.
Yes. Yes.
You know. Yeah, and those poor logs that have to be picked up, they got to bring a crane in there in order to pick those logs up.
Yep.
Right.
The excitement of our town.
Yep. That's what happens here. Totally what happens.
Yeah.
You know, but it's interesting to see the reactions. And I really do appreciate Januti coming into our chat room and giving us a quick breakdown of what they're seeing out there. You know, I do want to ask, I know we're going to get this because, you know, our show is delayed about 15, 20 seconds for our audience. But this is a question to Januti, if you could answer it, then I'll answer it when you respond. And that is there mass panic or panic at all going on in New Jersey? That's what I want to know. What are the people saying? How are they reacting? You know, are people scared? Are people going out at night to see what's going on? Are they trying to shoot it down? Or a lot more gunshots up into the sky? Right. This is what I want to know. So if you could fill me in on that, I would appreciate it, as we got just over a minute to go here before we go to break at the bottom of the hour. Tim James of the UFO Report coming on in here. Lunico asking, Dave, you ever hear testimony from Joseph Spencer? He admitted to being a Men in Black for the government and confessed to offing people who often exposed U.S. UFO inside information. No, I have never heard that testimony. Never heard that testimony. Interesting, though.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
No answer yet?
You know, I'm waiting.
Oh, okay.
You know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? Seriously?
No.
We're going to get drones here now.
I'm wondering.
That's what I'm wondering. Are we all of a sudden in little old Caribou, British Columbia, going to get them military drones flying over? We know there's a base here.
No, there's not.
Yeah. Right?
Not at all.
Right? This is Spaced Out Radio. That's little Timmy James of the UFO Report. I'm Dave Scott. We got Tim for another 30 minutes here on Spaced Out Radio. We're going to continue with the UFO Report. And hopefully there's actually a UFO in one of his stories tonight.
This is Spaced Out Radio and your host, Dave Scott.
happening, my man?
You know.
Still waiting for an answer.
Yeah, it'd be interesting because, I mean, obviously we get fed everything from the media. And, I mean, you see some of the stuff on YouTube. But, yeah, got a first-hander in the chat room.
I'm waiting for the answer.
Yeah, there we go.
Januti, still waiting for your answer.
Januti.
Fab says you're the best third-hour regular ever.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'll give him a wave.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
But see, I might believe that, but I know that he is a pot stirrer. So is he being legit? You know? I appreciate it. Thank you.
Januti says, no, they don't care in New Jersey. It's 8 p.m. prime time hour. They pass, and that's that.
Really?
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
I'm gonna highlight that one because we're gonna have to talk about that.
Agreed.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
GT 1982 Mustang. Welcome to SOR chat.
Yeah. Lots of new faces in the chat room. That's awesome.
Lots of new faces.
Thank you.
Thank you. Double Day, how you doing?
Phenomenon. Do.
What do you think of these chucks?
Those are awesome. I actually noticed them tonight.
Purple.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh, they are. Yeah.
So I got them.
Those are spanky shoes.
Yep.
I used to love those when I was a kid. Right? Like we used to get them all the time. And then they all of a sudden they became popular and cost an arm and a leg. I'm talking about like in the 20s and 30s.
It's like Ray-Ban.
Yeah, right.
Ray-Ban was struggling to sell sunglasses, and then they somehow Tom Cruise wore a pair.
Yes.
During the
Risky Business
movie.
Yeah.
Oh, Rebecca De Mornay.
Hello,
Rebecca. And then all of a sudden, Ray-Ban sales started going up. So they jumped their price from $20 to $30,
right,
up to over $110 a pair.
Right.
At that point, this is in the 80s.
Yeah.
And they were sold out.
Real.
Yeah.
Well, if you lived in Whistler, it was Varnays. Everybody had Varnays, and they had cat's eye Varnays. So you had the super glare, and then you had those black stripes through the middle. Everybody had them.
I had those.
Me too.
Oh, you're getting hit on here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Who's hitting on who?
Can you and Tim handle some SOR potential wife applications? Ha! Use an SOR love story to hit the press. Qualifications: tall, slim, blonde, green eyes, alien hybrid, Pleiadian. I'm just going to mark a couple of these.
Yeah, for sure.
We got 90 seconds.
Anybody else coming to Vegas in May?
Who's coming to Vegas? You going to Vegas?
Heck yeah.
I'm going to Vegas. Staying at the Orleans, May 1st to 5th.
Yeah.
Ozzy Ange, May 1st to 5th. That's the 2nd to 6th for you, my dear. We're staying at the Orleans, Tim Mothman, and your goatee. So you're going to have to get 2 rooms. One for you and one for your goatee.
What casino?
Orleans. Members only jacket? I don't know what that is. Thank you tonight to Simon, Richard, Joe, Debaruni, and Gary for the super chats. Greatly appreciate all the love, guys. All the love.
Oh, Joe. He's really
Really, Joe? You're a wrench, man. You're a wrench. I'm erasing that comment.
Put yourself in timeout.
Bad Joe.
Bad Joe. Funny bad Joe.
Bad Joe. All right, here we go. Four seconds. Here we go with the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. The droneaholic himself, Dave Scott, that's me, and Little Timmy James from the UFO Report. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed most of this show or others, you can check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. Tim James, UFO Report. What do you got for us here, Timmy?
So this has a lot of stuff that says UFO in it and not drone. So the Congress UAP UFO update, the final fiscal year for 2025, drops the Gillibrand of funding bans. So the final National Defense, the NDAA, for fiscal year 2025 has emerged from 2 months of backroom negotiations and likely will now receive fast approval in both houses of Congress. It will disappoint many of the UAP focused communities. So not the UFO focus, but UAP focused communities. The foundation of the final bill are the NDAA's versions approved by the House on June 14th of 2024 and by the Senate Armed Service Committee on June 13th, 2024. The full Senate never considered NDAA on the floor. Rather, the Senate negotiating position was defined by an informally negotiated list of possible amendments wrapped up into a single manager's amendment on September 19th, after which the House-Senate negotiations began behind closed doors. The final NDAA, which will now advance under the bill number 5003, also incorporates the final negotiated version of the Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2025, built on the foundations of earlier versions approved by the House and the Senate Intelligence Committee. UAP Disclosure Act, not airdropped. As predicted in September, the final NDAA IAA does not contain any language drawn from the UAP Disclosure Act, a far-reaching measure that was filed in July as possible NDAA amendment by Senator Mike Rounds and Chuck Schumer. The proposed UAPDA would establish a temporary federal agency headed by presidentially appointed review board with broad powers to search out and make public UAP-related records and materials. In 2023, the UAPDA passed the Senate, but its most expansive provisions were dropped in conference with the House. This year, it was approved by neither House and by no committee, and did not make the cut for inclusion into the manager's amendment that established the baseline for Senate negotiators. Gillibrand funding bans dropped. So in somewhat surprising development, the final bill allows to lapse 2 UAP-related provisions that were enacted a year ago as part of the fiscal year 2024 NDAA. The provisions, both associated primarily with Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, prohibited fiscal year 2024 funding of any UAP-related special access programs that had not been properly reported to designated members of Congress. One of these twin provisions applied to programs under the Department of Defense. The other two, programs within the intelligence community. I've reported extensively on the bans in the past articles on X-Post and refer the interested reader to check that out. So, joint explanatory statement on the final NDAA, which contained a paragraph discussing the removal of the Department Department of Defense Gillibrand limitation, reproduced in its entirety as a graphic, right? You can go check that out. There's also a bunch of stuff on X and stuff, and drawings and graphs and maps that you can have a look at. So the JES states, we recognize the concerns by many in Congress over adequate reporting and oversight for activities related to unidentified anomalous phenomenon. But note that current statute in Section 119 of Title 10 United States Code specifically provides the legal restrictions and protections necessary to ensure that Congress can exercise its responsibilities. Adding additional funding limitations cannot make it more legal to withhold or obscure information regarding such programs from congressional view, but could potentially have other unintended or unforeseen that could impact programs beyond the scope of activities that were addressed in the provision. In other words, the negotiators say they concluded that the ban might negatively impact secret programs outside of its intended scope. What? Right? What? All right.
I don't even know where to go with that. Where do you start?
I don't. Exactly. I was reading it and going, holy cow, that's a can of worms.
Yeah. That's the conversation that people you don't like, you have with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I totally get it.
Not to be insultive of the report that you just read.
No. I get it.
But I mean, look, we know they're going to play games with the budget.
Mm-hmm.
We know that there are a bunch of antiquated dudes on there who are very pro military industrial complex.
Yeah.
Mike Turner, okay, who Ohio, right?
Curmudgeon.
Yeah, never washed a dish in his life.
Yeah,
right. You know, those kind of people
mm-hmm.
who are there who do not have the best interest in the answers.
No,
they have the best interest for their population. Which happens in certain cases to be large military bases or intelligence agencies that are in there.
What?
Yeah. I know, right?
Weird.
You know, so it's not surprising.
No.
And as the new budget gets set to come down here, I don't see anything big happening.
No. And I think that's the thing too, is when they went into these hearings and stuff and they, you know, all this, and I kind of saw the writing on the wall, but it was obscured by the we're going to support this, and we're going to. And I think you and I both talked about it. There was a bunch of cheering and, you know, and a lot of bravado at the beginning, but when it got down to the meat and potatoes, there was a lot of people that left the table, right? Just like, and it's disappointing, understandable, but not surprising that the ball isn't going to keep rolling forward. They've just pushed it back again, right?
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very true. By the way, our listener in New Jersey, Jen Tui, maybe it's a soft J, Yanuti.
I don't know.
Yanuti or Januti?
Send us the phonetics.
Yanuti says, no, people in New Jersey don't care. It's 8 p.m. prime time hour. That's the first time I've heard that at 8 p.m. when these are happening.
Yeah.
5 p.m. Pacific, where we are. They pass, and that's that.
Really?
Goes on to say, I thought it was interesting the other night at the exact time they were flying over, all the sirens for the firehouses went off. I don't know if that was planned or an actual call, but freaky.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, going to have to keep us updated on what's going on over there. You got a first-hand person.
We have a first-hand listener right there.
Nice.
Right there. Trying to drop elbows on these these UAPs.
Right?
You know?
Uh-huh.
But people aren't paying attention. They aren't.
That's really weird. I don't know. I would be.
Yeah, I would be too.
Yeah. Definitely. So, next. This week in UFO history. So I don't know if anybody has heard this story. I remember it from actually kind of around the time it happened. And this one's, it was, they called it the Yukon Giant Mothership. So on the evening of December 11th of 1996, 5 witnesses from the Fox Lake area reported extended rows of lights crossing the west to east. One of these witnesses drew an object shaped like a wash tub with a shallow pan on the top, covered with multiple lights and bearing 2 rows of rectangular windows. 4 witnesses from the village of Carmax described multitudes of lights, some flashing and some steady, as an object the size of a football field flew from the northwest to the northeast. One witness indicated how large the object appeared by extending his arms towards the sky at a 60-degree angle. 6 other witnesses from the village of Pelly gave accounts. One of the witnesses, a trapper, saw what he thought was an airplane, but soon realized that its movements were too slow. When the object emerged into full view, he saw a row of perhaps 100 small rectangular lights, and above it another row of 7 large lighted rectangles. A dark oval formed behind the lights blotted out the stars. Beams of light flashed out from the front, rear, and bottom of the object, which appeared to be no more than 300 yards high and 3/4 of a mile long. Another Pele witness described an object as long as the Big Dipper, with a cluster of lights like big stars amid a grid of small blue lights. Still, another saw a square of light followed by several other squares, with the entire formation disappearing behind a hill to the east. In summary, all witnesses reported numerous lights, some large, some small, some square, some rectangular, and others round or star-like. The lights covered an extended arc of the sky in passage that took between half a minute to 10 minutes, according to the witness estimates. Most witnesses believed the lights were attached to a structured craft with windows, rows of smaller lights and flashing beams projecting from it. All agree that the object was enormous. For most witnesses, the object appeared north of them and passed west to east, though one witness reported the lights turned southward and 2 others said the object flew nearly over their heads. There's always one in a crowd. The times given for the event ranged between 7 p.m. and until 9 or 10 o'clock. But the 2 witnesses who actually looked at the clock gave an estimate of 8:23 to around 8:30 as the time. A widely circulated illustration condenses the report into the image of a huge circular craft with a row of windows, like witnesses had explained. Martin Jasic, an engineer, began an investigation of the case 3 years later for UFO BC. He discovered 31 witnesses and interviewed 19. He was able to gather sufficiently accurate information to triangulate the size of the object and concluded that it was between 1/2 and a full mile in diameter. In his formal report, he considered and rejected alternatives explained like hoaxes, auras, military aircraft, and meteors. The most serious contender was a Russian space probe launched on December 11th, but he rejected it as not being visible as far east as the Yukon, and because the UFO was too large and structured for the space probe to explain. Without a viable alternative, the ufological story prevailed. An enormous craft of unearthly origin flew low over the startled witnesses. This happened to be a story that witnesses found congenial, since all of them agreed that they observed something extraordinary, and most of them took the object to be a UFO. Skeptics Robert Schaefer and James Oberg took a close look at the Russian space probe. Oberg contacted Ted McGalzin, a Canadian expert on satellite orbits and reentries, who confirmed that the second stage boosters of Cosmos 2335 re-entered the atmosphere about 8:30 p.m. on the 11th of December and should have been visible low on the northern horizon to witness in the Yukon. What the people saw was a long train of incandescent debris sparkling and flashing as it passed west to east in the upper atmosphere. This passage may have taken as long as several minutes. The brightness of the disintegrating rocket blotted out the stars and gave the illusion that the solid object blocked their light. For the skeptics, this answer brought the case to a decisive close. Ufologists have objected that the sightings occurred over 2 or 3 hours, not just a few minutes, that the re-entry would have been visible. They also fault skeptics for ignoring one testimony that the object turned south, another that it stopped, and it even began to approach the witness. Yet the fact remains that the two witnesses who looked at the clock state their sightings occurred again at around 8:30, the same time as the re-entry. While the subjectivity, of the time can account for the deviations in the accounts. The west to east motion of the UFO was cited in all but one outlier instance, and the fact that the witnesses over the 200-mile stretch of highway reported the same motions offers ready evidence that the UFO was distant and not close at hand. Other details out of keeping with the conventional explanation seem readily understandable as error and illusion on the part of individual witnesses reporting them. No substantial evidence supports an anomalous identity for the Yukon UFO. Long-winded story, but
I like it.
yeah, I remember hearing about that, and it was quite amazing. But I mean, back in the day, they had people running up to the Yukon and the reporters, and it was just interviews. And yeah, but I remember that being a big story on the TV for quite some time.
One thing when you hear reports like that, what you don't realize if you've never been up there and how desolate it is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only, I think, 35,000 people that live in the Yukon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And 30 of them live in Whitehorse.
Yeah, that's about it, right?
Literally. What's the population of Yukon? As of September 2023,
yeah,
Yukon was 45,597 people.
And the Yukon's huge.
Yeah. Yukon alone is bigger than at least half of the state sizes in the United States.
Oh, easily.
Like there isn't many bigger than Yukon. Northwest Territories, there's nothing bigger.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Was up in the Yukon, I can't even remember, years ago. And yeah, what a cool place to be. But you're right, it's desolate. It is.
Yeah. and when you have reports, there isn't a lot of rockets flying over. You may get jets going over that are traveling to Europe.
Sure.
Because they go over the North Pole.
Yeah.
So two are coming back from Europe.
Yeah.
Yukon territory is also very, very close to the giant base in Alaska, Elmendorf Air Force Base.
That's right.
And so that makes sense, that they would have some air traffic.
Yeah.
But the people there are going to be used to that. They're not going to be used to anything that is anomalous. They're going to know.
No.
The sky is big there. It's not like here where you look up and you see haze from city lights and all that. You don't get that up there.
Not at all. Well, it's the Aurora Borealis. Like that's where you want to go, right? And these people that live up there have seen everything in the skies up there. It's gorgeous, right? And I mean, yeah. So I think they'd be pretty keyed up and tuned in into what's going on up there, because I mean they also have daytime darkness, and then it reverses and you've got nighttime sunshine, and yeah, so I think they got a pretty tight handle on what's going on in their sky up there, right?
I hear you.
And Cornelius lives up there.
Yukon Cornelius, where he figured out that bumbles bounce.
That's it. That's it. And Herbie wanted to be a dentist.
That is my favorite.
Mine too.
My favorite Christmas cartoon.
Uh-huh.
If you miss out on that, on those,
Right?
we can't be friends.
Nope.
There is no way we can be friends if you're missing out on Yukon Cornelius and Herbie.
Nope. My brother will do that. My brother will text me and go, Rudolph. Yeah. We're all over the age of 50.
Oh man,
I love it.
man. You know what great memories.
Yeah. Well, it's almost Christmas. So
What is your favorite Christmas movie?
that a movie?
Yeah, Christmas movie.
Oh, Christmas Vacation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would say Christmas Vacation, obviously number one.
Yeah.
Polar Express for me.
I've
Number two.
never seen it.
Dude, it'll blow your mind.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
It actually, I actually, because I still believe in Santa Claus,
Yeah, well,
I do.
He's real.
but at the end, oh my God, when they're in the North Pole,
uh-huh.
oh my God.
Okay, I got to check it out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My third would be the Disney version of Scrooge.
Oh, the Muppet.
Oh no, that's more of a television show.
Yeah.
But what would be my third then? What would be my
Well, I've always had the debate. There's a buddy of mine up in Williams Lake, and mine is Christmas Vacation. It's our tradition to watch it every New Year's Eve or New Year's
Elf.
Eve. Sorry, Elf for sure.
Yeah, Elf.
But his is Die Hard because people argue that that's a Christmas movie.
Bruce Willis during his
It's not a Christmas movie,
yelled
people.
out, he announced it is not a Christmas movie. So that way I am supporting Bruce Willis on that one. Die Hard
Me
is
too.
not a Christmas
It's
movie.
not.
It's not.
I don't. And it's guys are like, yeah, it is. It's like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
Mm-mm.
When the actor comes out and says it's not.
Yeah.
You know, we're not talking aliens here and somebody coming out saying, oh, they don't exist.
No, exactly. Yep.
All right.
Christmas Vacation.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. Glad you're in studio tonight, Tim James. As we say hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Rocking in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio. Rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X, hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us. Because together, my friends,
don't make a mistake. We're watching.
we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. There we go. That was a good show.
That was awesome. Sure.
That was a good show. That one went by fast.
It did.
Yeah.
I was like, holy.
Real fast. Oh, we have a birthday.
Do we? Who?
Fappy Poo.
Fap's birthday?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So we're going to give him the greatest version of happy birthday for somebody who, you know, drives a beige Volvo and he's single.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess.
So this is my version of happy birthday to Fap. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Fap. Stir. Happy birthday to
you. Yeah.
you.
Mm-hmm.
On to better things.
Anyway. Oh yes.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
For all our new listeners, if you ever come on in and say it's your birthday, we will sing you happy birthday.
Yeah.
It's literally become tradition around here. Unless you're FAP.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you get the Leonard Cohen version of it.
Oh. I was down at the Oh, Mr. Leonard Cohen.
Oh, I love Leonard Cohen.
So did I.
You ever read his poetry?
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I haven't read like books of it, but I've come across it.
I have a book somewhere.
Yeah, it's like, what?
His poetry is like way out there. It's whacked.
Mm-hmm.
It's whacked.
Yeah.
But first we'll take Manhattan. Then we'll take Berlin.
Yeah.
Tokeland, how are you? Moody Mongol. Moody Mongol. Moody Mongol.
What else is going on there?
You didn't cry, Fap.
Fap, you don't lie to your friends, you lie to girls.
I once called Fap's grandma Rose on the telephone.
Did you?
I did.
What, to
True
rat him
story.
out?
True story. It was her birthday. I think it was like her 96th birthday or something.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And he used to sit with Grandma Rose and listen to this show. So I actually called Grandma Rose one night.
Nice.
Yeah, he asked me to, so I did. Big fan of Grandma Rose.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
You know, I'm real excited when Fap talks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, you probably walk around his house.
Mm.
There's a lot of beige walls
Mm.
with no art on them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Think his furniture's covered in plastic?
No.
No.
No. But he's been rocking the same rocking chair for about the last 28 years.
Wicker died, man.
You know, with the faux leather that it's starting to crack and break, and then you pick it off with your fingertips.
Yep.
So it just leaves that white shit.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Fap's chair. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, all the old schoolers who've been here for a while, they know about Grandma Rose.
Please sing the Misfit songs.
Who said that? Oh,
Deb.
It's got to be Deb.
Yeah.
Deb, $100 super chat. We'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
100.
Here, let me get the lyrics first.
Yeah, $100 super chat. We'll do it. Rename KZAX.
She's pulling out the card.
The visa's about to get hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Dear Whisper, how you doing, buddy? Where have you been hiding? Literally, the Deer Whisperer is petrified of deer.
Oh, okay.
Petrified. Deb gave us an FU. Literally, FU.
Wow.
Right there. It's
I
coming up.
see it.
Yeah.
How rude.
Totally rude.
Holy. See, everybody can see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We could do it.
My ass is killing me right now, this chair. I cannot get comfortable. I got to fluff my pillow. That's what,
Oh, there you go.
that's what I need to do.
You need a fluffer.
Oh, it's so flat, right? You got to flip it on over. It's like a pancake. cake and cooked too much. Oh.
$100 is not rude. That's a cut rate deal. Our fee's usually about $200.
Hey, when Tim and I go on tour, we charge $250.
$250.
$250. That's right.
Who was it? I don't even cross the street for $100. Yeah, if Dave sings the rodeo song, YouTube might cancel him.
I'm going to tell you right now here, Deb. If you show up in Vegas, I promise you, I'll trip you.
While you're cartwheeling.
No, I no.
Yeah, sure, why not?
No.
I'll trip you. Oh.
What? You know what the best part about it is? I know Deb has the sense of humor to be laughing at that.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Doesn't take long to figure that one out.
Uh-huh.
What is it? It's time for it. What is Hillbilly Herb saying? It's time for the what would you eat for $100 game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why people eat gross food.
Well, quantify gross food.
Prairie oysters.
Yeah, no.
Why would you eat bowl balls?
Don't know.
Like, and think, oh, like who is, like, I realized during the Depression.
Sure.
Okay. And probably before that, you ate everything.
Yeah, of course.
I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still people out there today who eat the turkey neck from the turkey.
Oh,
who does that?
No.
Yeah, I don't get that.
No.
Okay. Like, I really don't get that.
Mm-mm.
But who eats prairie oysters? Who looked at a squid and said, that's yummy? Or, you look at a lot of the Eastern Asian countries,
right,
where they eat like raw octopuses. Yeah. The tentacles are still moving.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it all came out of necessity. I think you're right, because they ate what they had. I mean, it's like anything. Whoever thought to eat an orange, or whoever thought to eat an apple?
Well, I realize that, but bull nuts. I don't look at a steer and say, man,
I'm getting hungry.
Exactly.
Imagine the poor little kid back in the day. Walking, dad's out there chopping bull nuts off, castrating bulls. What are we doing with these? Put them in the basket, son. Your mom's going to cook them up.
Speaking of which, Colby still can't get his skates tight. So he'll get ready. He'll tie his skates the best that he can.
Right.
And then he'll come out to the lobby and I'll tighten up around his ankles.
Yeah.
So today I'm like, okay, do the left foot. Not a problem. Yeah, he's getting tighter and tighter. He's working on it.
Sure.
Good. So my days of tying skates are almost over, which is nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, next foot. Boots me right in the nuts.
Oh, with
totally
skates.
accident. Oh. Totally accident. Not with the blade part. I missed the blade.
Yeah, but with the steel toe.
But with the hard toe. And I'm like, oh, you son of a.
Yeah.
What'd I do, Dad? What'd I do?
Nothing. Go.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gooey duck is delicious.
What? No.
Oh, no.
No.
I had a client once who literally worked 4 months of the year
as a gooey
diving for gooey ducks.
No.
He made a quarter every year. That was his salary, a quarter for 4 months work, 4 or 5 months work diving for gooey ducks.
No.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yeah. Ugh. You can't make that up.
Nope.
I don't know who does that, but I sure as hell wouldn't.
Heck no. Ugh. Just thinking gooey duck to there.
I can't even handle the smell of lamb.
No, something.
My in-laws came over.
Yeah.
My in-laws came over one night. I came home from work.
Oh.
And my entire house smelled like lamb. What a horrifically disgusting smell.
It is.
I will not eat lamb.
No.
I'd never tried it before. I was like, okay, I'll try it. I'll be brave. I'll try it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the smell.
Oh.
Oh my God.
No. My dad just loves lamb chops. And I can't stand them. And yeah, we go hunting and you go, hey, I'll bring a meal. I'll bring lamb chops. Like, no, that's okay. I got it. Right. The only lamb that I actually do like is I don't mind the souvlaki.
Uh-huh.
Or if you go to a Greek restaurant and get the roasted lamb knuckle. Oh, gee.
Is that like a moose knuckle?
No. It's just as I can't remember what whereabouts. It's off the leg somewhere, but my good God, it's so good.
Moody Mongol says, what did I pronounce properly? Oh, gooey duck. Yeah. Okay. Moody Mongol says, it's now official. Dave does not eat bull balls. However, he will tuck into a fast food burger, which is made of many worse things, but including bull balls. His logic is sound. Not true.
Yep.
Not true, because in Canada, they have very strict meat laws.
Mm-hmm.
So all the burger joints from McDonald's to Wendy's to A&W to whomever it is fast food, Carl's Jr. or whatever it may be, Arby's, if there's still any Arby's around, Taco Bell, Taco Time, legally in Canada, they have to use grade A beef.
Yep.
That is one of the benefits of living under Deer Leader.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, too, is that if I used to go down to Seattle and stuff all the time, and when you get into the States and, we'll just stop at McDonald's. McDonald's is somewhat more consistent, but hey, let's stop at Jack in the Box. That is the diarrhea factory. Like, I maybe not for the American people down there and the people in the United States, because their system is used to it, but coming up, eating fast food up here and going into the state, I can't do it. I cannot do it because my stomach gets so upset. And then I watch some of the shows on how they make that stuff. Like, no, thank you.
No.
Like the food programs in the States for the schools in Los Angeles.
Oh no, I'm not even thinking about that.
Nope.
No. But up here in Canada, we literally have food laws.
Yeah. I mean, not saying that it's all it's not healthy for you. Don't get us wrong.
No. Hell no.
We're not trying to promote that. We're just saying, different ways of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people go, you like hot dogs? I'm like, yeah, I love hot dogs. Love them.
I'm not a hot dog fan.
I'll
eat one if it's there. Okay, but I'm just not a fan.
Oh, I'll pound like 3 of those for lunch or something. I love hot dogs.
I mean, no.
And I love hamburgers, but I love homemade hamburgers. Like just, and everybody has their own special recipe for their hamburgers, right? For barbecuing. And it's like, mine's way just super simple, and you get to taste the meat instead of all the rest of the stuff in it. Yeah, I'm really very minimalistic when it comes to making my burgers.
You know what I will say that I love in the U.S. over Canada?
What's that?
2 things.
Mm-hmm.
The steak is thicker. And much tastier.
It is.
Yeah, you get a good like porterhouse steak, sirloin, or whatever it may be.
Yeah,
T-bone,
ribeye.
Oh, it's good.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. And
That's
lobster.
True.
They don't do these little dinky lobsters like we get crayfish. up here.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Well, not exactly, but yeah, you're right. I mean,
Well,
unless you fly to the East Coast up here in Canada, you're not, or you wait till lobster season, then they get shipped over from back east, and it costs you $900 a lobster. Like, yeah.
Fox Hunt here with the name of Fox Hunt says meat is for
My belly.
I could get in trouble on YouTube for saying that
Oh,
word.
don't say it. I haven't read it.
Starts with an R and ends with tards.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Come here, vegan. Just remember, your food does more damage to the planet than our food does.
That's right.
Proven fact.
Yep. It's like, what is it? The soy fields for making tofu and stuff. It destroys so much habitat for animals and stuff. Instead of us going out and sniping down a deer for our freezer.
Yeah, Fox Hunt. Seriously, that is like one of the YouTube no words.
Yeah.
Not that I agree with that because I'm a free speech kind of guy.
Absolutely.
But I don't want to get my channel in trouble. Yeah, you're obviously new and an idiot if you're calling me woke.
Yeah, he's so far from woke, he's still asleep. Oh,
yeah. Yeah. I like to protect my capitalist investment, so I'm a woke R.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Boy. Yeah, you're just not playing with a full deck of 52 cards.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Grandmother, was it my great grandmother used to say, you're about as sharp as a sock full of soup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One more and you're gone. You got to realize, Fox Hunt, I'm the type of guy where I no longer give a fuck. Okay. So if you're going to be an idiot in my chat room, you could get booted. Yeah. The how dumb are you comment, that just did it. So do me a favor. Go back into your bedroom where your virgin, body can handle all its being an idiot. So have fun. Sayonara. Get the fuck out of here. I don't care.
No,
I don't care.
go back and crawl into mom's basement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
What a fucking meathead. And I say that with him being a vegan. Making that vegan comment.
But
fucking meathead.
Joe had one going the other night, and there wasn't very many people picking up on it. And I was going back and forth with Joe. Joe goes, I'm just waiting for that fat pitch to come right down the center. And it's like, oh, come on, swing. I think he gave him like 3 strikes. And the guy became totally okay. But I was like,
Oh, yeah.
come on, buddy. You can. That was fun. Crank her out.
Before I'd actually try and be nice. And I'd be like, hey, man, just like calm down. And now if you're just an idiot, bye.
Yeah, exactly. You're fired. You're out of here.
Yeah. Just waiting to see if they change the name and come back in with a second profile.
Yeah.
Because most meatheads like that do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good, though. I hope he does, because then we could get rid of all of them. Like we did with Gildo.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Dave, I want my wrench back. I'm ready now.
Oh, dude. Look, there are certain words that I just don't care for.
No.
That is one of them. Don't care for the R word. Don't care for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I work with some very young person that is, I wouldn't say woke, but in that super sensitive about, like, yeah. Sometimes it's funny because we'll get talking and I'll say something and I don't realize that I'm not supposed to say that. And it's like, what? Yeah, I can't keep up with it. So I don't.
It's just not even a bother.
No, I just treat people the way that I want to be treated and show them some respect. But if you don't like the way I'm talking, see ya.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You don't want to get in trouble because those messages go directed to the I'm offended hotline right at Dear Leader's desk, man.
I'm offended hotline. Hi, thank you for calling Snowflakeville.
Yeah, Poncho Zorch, how you doing? Yeah. Well, technically speaking, Dave is woke. I mean, he is here moving and with his eyes open and being salty too. But can we stop politics stealing common words from their madness? Soon enough in Canada.
Yes, absolutely.
Look, I agree there are words that we need to do without.
Oh, for sure.
But you don't get to come into my chat room as a first timer and start insulting me.
No.
It's like one time I had this guy come right in. For first comment ever, you're fat. Thanks. I'm telling Aussie Ange and her giant of a husband is going to come beat the tar out of you. Right?
Yeah. And your point is, whatever.
Yep. I don't get people.
Yeah,
it's funny.
It is really.
Uh-huh.
Oh well.
I want to go drive my Jeep. I like driving it.
Oh yeah. So we talking about drones tomorrow night?
I want to get back to UFOs.
I know.
I do. I'm so sick of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people don't think for a second that I'm not sick of talking about it.
Oh, crap.
The problem is we have to. We're an outlet that deals in these subjects, and we have to be able to discuss these, especially for the radio audience.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
Oh, Januti's becoming favorite of mine. New York strip loin and filet on the other side.
Oh, yes.
You know what's really good? Have you ever had, believe it or not, I drive a Jeep and a Bronco. I am the ultimate contradiction right now.
You are.
You know what? I've been a Jeep guy my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
After driving the Bronco, I will never buy another Jeep.
Really?
Never.
And you can come see me, Dave. Of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I will never. The new Broncos,
they're gorgeous.
Oh man, and comfortable.
I'll bet.
And heated steering wheels.
I got that.
And it's the only vehicle right now. I don't know what it's like in the U.S., but in Canada, it's the only vehicle you can legally drive with no doors on it. You have to have like a bar or one of the nettings.
Yeah.
But you could drive without because for some stupid reason, when Chrysler took over Jeep, they moved the mirrors to the doors.
Yes.
And so you cannot drive a Jeep legally without the side mirrors.
Yeah, well, they used to be up on either on the the front fenders here.
Yeah,
closest to you.
So Bronco took advantage of that.
Yeah, damn straight.
And good on them for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So you were saying, have I ever had what?
No.
Then you. It's okay. It's
yeah. Okay. Okay, barbecue your steak, and then throw a bunch of like garlic shrimp on it.
Oh, heck yeah.
And then top it with hollandaise sauce.
Ooh, not a big fan of the hollandaise.
Dude, it's not lamb. Okay. Try it. Just try it.
All right. Well, we used to make them when I worked on the restaurant, but they called them Oscars, and you used a hollandaise sauce on it, but it was the steak with the crab and the shrimp.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Fap says, Bear Country, no doors. Dave says, I'll buy it. I don't own the Bronco. It's a company vehicle that I get to drive. So I'm fortunate that way. Oh, no, Bomber, you poor thing.
What?
I hope you gave them a report card and gave them a D.
House with all purple
Went for a short drive to look at Christmas lights tonight. Saw a house in all purple lights. House across the street, all orange. Made me laugh. Oh, that would drive me absolutely batshit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Well, it's still better than urine lights.
Yes. What color is that? That's so faded.
Yeah. You know the other thing I hate about Christmas lights?
Mm.
And if you go on Don Sleekwa, there's a couple of houses down there.
Yep.
Not only do they have the urine lights, but people who don't change their dead light bulbs.
Oh. So they've got an old string that's
it's got about
old.
7. It holds 25 lights per string.
Yeah.
Like 7 of them are burnt out. I hate that. Or people who don't put their lights up straight.
No, you got to have them straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those droopy, goopy things. Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got to damn near electrocute yourself by putting them staples in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. Do the old Clark Griswold every year.
Yep.
Pacack.
You know, my first year here doing Christmas lights when I moved up here,
mm-hmm.
You know, thinking, oh, well, I'll wait. I'll wait.
I did the same thing.
Yeah. Minus 29 Celsius.
Yeah.
Me putting my Christmas lights up.
I know. And you're out there cursing. You can't feel your hands.
And you can't wear the gloves going up the ladder. No.
Yeah. And then putting the clips on your gutter and they're all snapping. It's like,
oh, God, I hate those clips.
I know. And then you get the, I told you so.
Well, why don't we finish it tomorrow? No, we're doing it now.
Exactly.
You wanted Christmas lights. We're doing Christmas lights.
My fingers are falling off.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do it when it was warmer?
Because I didn't think this cold. It's not even winter.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Oh, yeah. It's the way we roll around here in the Shire that we call the Boo. Oh, yeah.
The Boo.
Anyways, people, tomorrow night on the show, we will have Kevin Wright. I got to make up that show yet, so I'll do that tomorrow. Kevin Wright will be here talking about, guess what? The UAPs and the drone phenomena and UFOs. Where have all the UFOs gone? Thank you tonight to Simon, Deborah Rooney ×2, Gary, Cosmic Joe, and Richard for the super chats. Happy birthday, Fapperoony. Yeah. May your beer be American for tonight. Have a good one.
healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.